Hello everyone, it is Monday night, it is the time for the silver version of the Hungarian Grand Prix now. It is, we're outside of Budapest, or just outside of Budapest I should say, and it is round 9 of silver. And well, we've got a couple of debutants tonight as well. It's going to be a very unusual grid there because I think, and also for the first time in our ALR career, that Welsh Bernardo is not participating in an ALR event. Goodness gracious me. Unfortunately, Curly is also having to take a back seat as the after earning superb start to his championship campaign. However, it's a bit which is such a shame now. But of course, remember that he's now embarking on a new journey. I think so is Beck as well. A Freshers Week, I think, is what they call it, isn't it? Or something along those lines. There we go. Then I thought Freshers Week was where you're being shown around the campus, but apparently that's not the case. Then there's a lot more. I think it's a lot more parching than what I was expecting. Thank goodness me. Maybe I'm just a big old nerd. Then, now, from being a nerd, I used to sit in front of the class. Unfortunately, I hasn't helped with my maths or anything like that at all, has it? We're about a couple of minutes into this qualifying session. Is the head admin of Silver, the far through who's in charge of the lobby now, was keen to get going. And as I think he must have some kind of hair appointment booked at 10 o'clock tonight. Then, as he wants to get going quite quickly. And so we've got TK who's out on circuit monitor, as he is now going to start us off in our qualify. Oh goodness gracious me! Then that's a lot of the car not really. It's not going the way that TK wants that car to go there, and he's abandoned this lap already, hasn't he? He's had a horrific turn one there. Goodness me, not the most ideal start then to his Hungarian Grand Prix weekend. Event, I should say. In the championship, then, it's young Tommy has now got a 45-point lead over Dylan, who is in second position now, and the Alfa Romeo drivers then have got a 47-point lead over Curly in third position. Now, as Gordo's in the wall already, and he's out of the qualifying session. Goodness me, Gordo, he has really interrupted me there, and he's out of qualifying already. And yes, and so that is our first victory of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It is a technical, twisty circle, isn't it? And look at the heat haze coming off the track as well. I wonder if it's too hot for those soft tires. Maybe he overcooked him perhaps on his outlap. Whatever the case may be, there's his teammate Reflections that going for his unfortunately dropped into the bottom three. Reflections has, so it's a big event for him tonight as well. Oh my word then, but that's the first Ferrari out of qualifying already, and that is such a shame. Carrying on with the Drivers' Championship, we have got Viton in fourth position. He is 70 points away at the moment, and he's also 29 points away. TK has gone faster than it, but he's abandoned his time and going for another by the chair now. I think Viton is 25 points away from Dylan in second position. It is such a huge gap already between the AlphaTauri and the rest of the field, and they've been absolutely incredible stuff. I think this is the first time in LR history we've got such a dominant team, haven't we, in the driver's standards right from the get-go. We did have the Super Haas team who had three 3-1-2s, which is the most in LR history up at this stage there. I think the AlphaTauri is going to be very much rivaling that at the end of this one. Incredible stuff indeed. Then fifth position is Wilson. TK moving up position as well. Five positions, you man broke a brilliant performance last time out in the British Grand Prix. He could have and should have won the Grand Prix in my opinion. Unfortunately, had fuel issues, didn't he? We'll talk more about those fuel issues in the later part of the show. We'll go through that in just a different one. And then bottom three Reflections, Steve and Gunnar. Unfortunately, Gunnar and Steve are yet to get off the mark so far. In the constructor standards, AlphaTauri, as we already mentioned, of how great they are so far this season. 74 points in front. Mortal's gone fastest now in the Mercedes. We got a Alfa Romeo then in the background as well. Marky starting his lap. Here's Dylan, who's invalidated his time. So Dylan is going to have to go around again. So we're just watching you, mad bro. Mercedes in second position on 74 points. 74 points away from AlphaTauri. Alpine are in third position. Good start for the Alpine team. Williams are in fourth. Then Haas are fifth. McLaren and Red Bull jumped in front of the Alfa Romeo team. Ferrari in ninth position. Aston Martin completes the top 10 then. As I've had to very much skim over a lot of that there because we've had action all the way in this qualifying session so far. Incredible stuff too. Say the very least that. As Umanbro goes third fastest in the McLaren Mercedes then. And so he just comes down to the modified turn one there. Dylan going for second by the chariot. Here comes Gunnar, who has got, unfortunately, him and Stia, two drivers who haven't scored points so far in their championship campaigns. Gunnar is on a very, we've just worked out Gunnar's race start is on 128 Grand Prix starts in his career in ALR, in all-time ALR. My word, I think this will be his 129th season the start tonight. Then it's Gunnar is well out of control there. That back end is not looking at two plants at all. His teammate is invalidated this time as well, so he's going to have another bite of cherry, isn't he? We have got New Potato then, who is in the second part of the lap then. So we continue with New Potato then. He is the first ever bronze world champion. We've got a COBALT. We've got the first ever COBALT world champion, the first ever bronze world champion, and the defending bronze world champion as well. This championship in silver is all about champions, and incredible stuff indeed. Let's go for the comments. Gunnar saying good luck everyone. Gordo saying hello and good luck. Will said it's just rained on our parade, literally and figuratively, because there is rain afoot then in the beginning of the race, and that's good. That's what I like to hear. A young Tommy evening, Sirius Russia evening on FIFA. Wow. Yes, one moment. Yo, FIFA just 1 point today. Evening people. Sirius Russia points. Just want to finish there for Sirius Russia now. He is not feeling too comfortable around this technical twisty dust bowl of a circuit. It's an old school circuit, this one is. I must say, I didn't really... Oh, Marky, the two Aston Martins having some major gremlins out there. We've seen Gunnar very much wrestle the car in the second part of the circuit now. Now we've got Marky, who's lost the whole of the front wing now. He's going to have to come back in there, because that is not good at all, is it, by any stretch there. And so he's going to have to come in the pits there and change that nose cone. And Marski then out on circuit mode. Marski is then in the lovely Alfa Romeo team. The Alfa Romeo team are going to be feeling a bit, feeling a bit fragile after their... after seemingly chucking away a Grand Prix win last night in the form of Pillars. Pillars had it all under control then on lap 35 out of 35. He spun it in turn 6 and 7. There's tight chicane, and that really and that unfortunately ended him and Alfa Romeo's chance of winning the Grand Prix, and it allowed German to take a 7th Grand Prix of his career in ALR. Fantastic stuff indeed. Siege coming across the line. He's third fastest in front of his teammate, interestingly enough. So good stuff indeed there as he comes down the back straight. Bradfield is enlightened us then, has graced us with his presence then out on the circuit, and also we got Slayer out there as well. Morsky on the final part of the lap as well. You got Vince saying good evening. All Gordo said so curves automatically spin you anyone. I ain't even fuming at this stage. Then Vince saying good trying the handbrake turn, and we've also got Styles saying evening all as well. Out the final turn there for Morsky, he goes 8th fastest then out of 9 timed runs so far. Slayer then in the middle part of that, then Young Tommy then at the moment. And Young Tommy, he's only got Grand Prix winner, of course. We was talking about you, mad bro, last, just as we got into the show. Well, you mad bro there was a lap, less than a lap away from winning the Grand Prix, but he had fuel issues, didn't he? He underfueled the car, we heard in the interviews, and unfortunately that cost him the Grand Prix win, and that allowed the championship leader, Young Tommy, to extend us in the World Championship as well. And so Young Tommy, it's been all about the consistency for this man this season. He was in the relegation fight last season. This season is a completely different scenario. Remember that Young Tommy did make his debut halfway through last season, of course. So it's a bit unfair, because this is really his first full season. And my word, there, he's absolutely fantastic, isn't he? Into the final turn then for Jake the Slayer out of it as well. And let's see what Slayer can do. 2 DRS zones around this circuit. Slayer goes third fastest. The Williams in the background, I think, is Siege, who is starting another lap then. But whilst that's going on, we're going to watch the debut tonight of Forlan here then. Or is it Florin? Oh, I think it's Florin, isn't it? So we're going to go with Florin here in the other Alfa Romeo as well then. Here is Florin then, of course. Alfa Romeo going to be very, as we mentioned already, they're going to be a bit bruised after last night's events in gold, isn't it? But onwards and upwards is onwards and upwards. That's the beauty of VLRs there. So we have races we have races every day from Sunday till Wednesday, of course, there, isn't it? So if you have a problem or two, you can if the teams have a problem or two, you can just get back on the saddle, can't you? Florin there, unfortunately, is invalidated this time, so he's going to have another bite of cherry. Same with Favre as well, then. So you're really using their own track tonight, and so with Bradfield as well. Just watching Dylan, who is currently just about to finish off his lap as well. Dylan second in the World Championship at the moment, and of course in the AlphaTauri. 2 Grand Prix wins now in his career of ALR Silver. 3 Grand Prix wins in this total, because he won a Grand Prix last season on his way to the Bronze World Championship. He's quicker than his teammate by 2/10 of a second. We're coming to the half distance in the championship now. Well, we're going to be at half distance after the next race in Belgium now. So that's when we're officially at 50% distance at the World Championship, which is, I must say, I don't know. Young Tommy does look quite strong, doesn't he, at the moment now. However, there is still a long way to go in the Championship, isn't it? So nothing is all done and dusted yet by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, young Tommy, of course, may have inherited the win last time out. Now it's his first Grand Prix win as well. He potentially could have and should have won the Austrian Grand Prix as well. So maybe a bit of vindication there for young Tommy. That is his 6th podium as well in 8 events this season there. So he's been on the podium in every single Grand Prix apart from 2, young Tommy has. So I think that's really just showing that it's all about consistency for young Tommy, isn't it? And of course, and the consistency is probably, well, Hamilton was leading the World Championship in the actual World Formula 1. It wasn't even though Max Verstappen have led probably over, well, I think he led almost double the laps that Hamilton have led, hasn't he, so far this season now? And, but Hamilton was leading about, well, I think he's 5 points behind now, isn't he? So it is about consistency, especially with the current point scoring system which we've had since 2010. Florin goes across the line here, 7th fastest then. What about that Red Bull I can see in the background as well? Bradfield goes 8th fastest then, of course. Bradfield, we don't usually see him qualify, but look at Markey once again then. I think I'll call him in Marsky. I was getting so excited last time out in Silverstone. And Markey got his first ever podium of his career. And my goodness me, he's really starting to elevate himself in the maybe in the championship battle as well. Immortal making his debut tonight for the Mercedes team. I forgot to mention that. Well, I forgot to mention that even though he's fastest so far. But yeah, I'll get there eventually, I swear. There's a far coming across line. Lovely helmet design there from far. Goodness me, feels like a bit of a FIFA flavour there, don't it? Lovely stuff there. We've got a light blue and all that kind of stuff there. So far goes 7 fastest, a thousandth of a second away from Dylan at the moment. That's how close this silver championship is ridiculously close. Bradfield in a very solid 10th position on it. But young Tommy down in 11th, and it was quite close between the two Alpha Towers. All of a sudden they've spread out a bit. Here comes Marsky as oh goodness me, someone's got a big old exhaust outside my window. Here comes Gunnar again, and he's less than a 10th of a second up in the first split time then. But we'll see how he carries on then. So on board now, Gunnar. Lovely shot here from the side pod here of the Aston Martin car. Aiming to lose 4 drivers in this first qualifying session, of course, and it is 16 down to 20. It's as simple as that there. You just have to make sure you're under the benchmark. You have to be 15 for above to progress into qualifying, so to keep your qualifying slot then. And then we'll lose another 5 drivers in a qualifying 2, where we've only got 15 minutes to do so. And then in qualifying 3, it is an all-out shootout for pole position then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's like Gunnar coming up to the line, and he would like to score some points like Gunnar, but at the moment now he's 2/10 of a second adrift from Marsky at the moment, who's down in 17th position now. So Gunnar there is going to find a bit more time than Mad Bro. Remember, this was the scene last season of Mad Bro having an absolutely outstanding performance there. We got Butters Wilson, his teammate, has just mentioned about the rain in the comment section, and yes, indeed, there. If we're going to have rain in the Nude has left the session there. That's not good. But of course, remember last season we had absolutely horrific rain. It was absolutely raining cats and dogs there, wasn't it? Goodness gracious me there. Jim Straff won the Grand Prix. I think he won. That was his second Grand Prix win. But Mad Bro changed to the wet tyres, didn't he? Well, the first out of anyone, and his drive was absolutely sublime, wasn't he? He was our new wet weather specialist, wasn't he, from last season? And of course, he went on to win the COBALT World Championship as well. And he was a very quick customer last time out in the British Grand Prix as well, wasn't he? Mad Bro. So let's see let's see what he can do later on this show tonight. And the Alpine cars, I should say, are a bit off the pace at the moment. And they have been the most unluckiest team out of everyone in the field, in my humble opinion. They potentially could have and should have won the Spanish Grand Prix with both FIFA and TK, but it just went completely wrong there, didn't it? Unfortunately. And I think the FIFA beef should have won a couple of races as well. I think he should have won Canada, shouldn't he? Wilson retired from the session there, and so that's 2 retirements. And Gordo is 20th position, Wilson is 19th, and that is the back row then sorted out then for the incredible stuff. And so at the moment, Immortal 2/10 of a second front end. So Immortal, as we're just going to, let's go with Immortal now then, because we're going to talk about him. So let's go on board. Immortal then is now a 4-time silver driver. Immortal is the first driver in bronze, and there's a wheel in the background. I think that's Gordo's. So I think the Gordo might need to pick that up. Goodness gracious me, then that's Litterbug in there. My word. But serious stuff. And well, of course, littering is serious, of course. But we're just watching Immortal going through turn 4 as well, but he's got a bit wide there and validated his lap. Immortal, the only driver in a bronze so far, this seems to have 2 Grand Prix wins then. Everyone else has had 1 Grand Prix win, or no Grand Prix wins at all then. And Immortal is now driving in the Mercedes team. He's on 6 points at the moment, and he is technically in the bottom 3, but my word, he's come out really firing on all cylinders, has he, in the hybrid Mercedes AMG Patronus car. It really is indeed, isn't he? Fantastic for Immortal there. And I've just seen in the comments there a very impressive start to Immortal's campaign here tonight. Vital's retired from the session now. There's Marky into a solid third position there. Marky is very good stuff indeed in the Aston Martin. He's really grown into the Aston Martin car, as the Marky has. He had a bit of a slow start in his career in ALR Silver. He showed flashes of brilliance. I think in Bahrain he got 10th position, didn't he, Marky? Didn't he? Should have got higher points, really, shouldn't he? If I remember rightly, FIFA is very much on the cusp of being knocked out. But we've also lost Flora now. He's down in 10th. Well, he's in 10th position now. Is that going to be safely through? We'll find out in a minute, because the bar is going to be moving up and down, I think, in this Hungarian Grand Prix. Out of the final turn then, and here comes FIFA across the line. He's 13th fastest, FIFA is. Is that going to be enough? Then TK has found half a second, almost half a second in the second split time across the line. He goes full fast, and that is where I was expecting the Alpine cars to be. They were very good in terms of the form. And I think that underlines their form as well. Great stuff there. What about Reflections? He's 10th for second down. Reflections is there. What about the final section? He's improved slightly there, but he's still 3 tenths of a second adrift then from getting through into qualifying 2 at the moment. Reflections, who's also found himself in the bottom 3 as well. Reflections was one of the 3 drivers that got promoted last season from bronze to silver. This is the other driver, Marsky, as well. And I think out of the as a fast retard from the section, unfortunately, out of all the bronze drivers, we have got. Dylan now, of course, the bronze world champion, has really flourished in silver. I think the Marsky and Reflections have struggled a bit, haven't they? However, having said that, Marsky has been incredible in the races, haven't he? Really good stuff indeed. Marsky, though, is, well, Reflections out of the qualifying session, unfortunately. He's gone off in a big way, actually. He's gone off in a major way. Mortals in the pit lane. He's called it a day. Yeah, Reflections' car is right in the middle of the track there. Guna, that sure distracted the Irishman, but he kept on his way anyway. Goodness gracious me. That is reminiscent of Kimi Räikkönen's qualifying lap back in the Belgian Grand Prix in 2002, where Olivier Panis blew up his Honda-powered BAR British American racing car, and Kimi Räikkönen there just didn't lift off, did he? Going through a Rouge and Radi on there. Goodness gracious me, well, I think it was after, wasn't it? But my golly gosh, as now is Gunnar coming into the final. So it's right, TK is retired from the session as well. Marsky, I think that it's a checker flag falling, and it is fluttering in the Hungarian breeze, isn't there? So yes, that is it for qualifying. In qualifying 1, I think we found our 5 slowest drivers then, and they are Gunnar is 18th position, and Marsky down in 17th position as well. Reflections in 16th, and unfortunately Reflection, he's going to be starting on the 8th row of the grid today. On the 10th row is Wilson and Gordo as well, and so those are 5 drivers that have been knocked out of qualifying 1 as we get ready for qualifying 2 here in the Hungarian. Just take a look at the comments there as well. We've got Serious Russia, no chance that Scooby, but thanks to Serious Russia. I think he's kind of underlined that he's strong for pace tonight, isn't he, Serious Russia? But having said that, so is FIFA Beefy as well. And FIFA Beefy is usually one of the top drivers in the league as well in silver there. But FIFA and Serious Russia both just about scraping through into qualifying 2 by 3 tenths of a second, which is maybe a bit too close there for both those drivers. Usually nearer the top then. But Serious Russia in 14th position then. We got 15th position now for FIFA Beefy, just about made it through that vintage saying Siege in silver there with the big old eyes there. Goodness me. That's Scuba Shoe saying there's always a chance, yes. Remember, as Murray Walker used to famously say, then F1 spells backwards is if, of course. The race is not run on paper, is it? But it's definitely not going to be the case. And also, we've got to spring into the wet stuff as well. As Wilson, our weather forecaster, has enlightened us about as well. So I'm looking forward to the start of the qualifying session, which means that in qualifying 2, we are not going to be too concerned about tires. I would hazard a guess. I was just watching FIFA coming back into the garage then, and that is your qualifying 2 session. Qualifying 1 session done and dusted. We're going to accelerate into qualifying 2 for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Immortal, first race for Mercedes? Completed it. He's fastest so far. Fantastic stuff indeed. This is his first race for the Mercedes in the silver category as well, of course, because he did drive for the Alfa Romeo team in the Canadian and French Grand Prix. Unfortunately, he didn't see the end of the Grand Prix in Canada, did he? He did get a 7th position in the French Grand Prix, if I got to get out the old, goodness me, I'm impressed if I've got that right. But I think he's got 6 points, so that must be right. So hopefully Immortal then would like to get maybe get on the front row then this race, or maybe maybe even a Grand Prix win as well. Gordo out, Wilson out, Gunnar, Marsky, and Reflections out of qualifying 1 as we now go into qualifying 2. As I've been saying, that Wilson doing a Murphy tonight then, but I think Wilson does. Wilson's just gone on to comment there saying that Wilson doing a Wilson, you mean vintage there. We got full moment saying Siege is too quick for Silver. He has got some mad pace there. Oh goodness me, then so Slayer there. Look at feeling a bit nervous there from Siege there. Swan Shanks, what's up? Good evening, Swan Shanks there. It was a stonking lap as well. As Sarah was saying there in the comments as well. As I keep as I'm just trying to catch up with all me bits and bobs there. Becca, who's on Freshers Week, isn't she, along with Curly, I think Total Peas as well, isn't he, there? So good stuff indeed. I hope everyone who's starting at university, college, school, whatever, Carl, so I hope you have a grand old start into your life, your new lives and all that, and I hope you all do well, of course. It is a big change, I must say. I remember when I first started college, way back in the 1930s. Goodness gracious me. Well, to be honest, I think my first day in college was I can't remember what was my first day of college. It was that good. I remember my first 2 weeks in college there. I dyed my hair red one time. I can't remember what. I think it was Liverpool playing someone or something like that, and I was just wild. Unfortunately, it came out pink when I washed it, so there we go. So I had bright pink hair then for my first couple of weeks in college. I think that was in year 2 though, so luckily I might have just about got away with that, but that was a silly thing to do. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, really, because yeah, and it wasn't a good idea at all, was it really? And yeah, and unfortunately, because I was ginger as well, I couldn't really dye it back. I tried to dye it back, and it got even worse. And then I ended up bright blonde. Anyway, enough about that and my appalling hairdressing skills. That's something that is not going to be on my future CV list. I can assure you of that. Then, oh goodness me, we've got a couple of Chatterbox in the comments are absolutely loving it, and Gordo said, whilst I'm spectating, I heard a joke earlier and I felt I have to share it. Let me read it first, because so Gordo's going to share us a joke then. What did the grape say when it was crushed? And not much, it just let out a little wine now. I love it. Absolutely amazing stuff indeed there. Of course, we have jokes in silver, and then in a bronze we have puns as well. Then of course there, as I must say, bronze was, I think, was the most watched race in ALR last week, which I think is the first time ever, because usually it's gold, isn't it? But bronze, I think that a lot of the bronze viewers, there was a lot of you guys making the puns there. I absolutely loved it. It was a cracking race as well. Bronze was last week, really was indeed. Then, so we're looking forward to more of the same again tomorrow, please. Dylan there going a bit wide there, almost over the sausage curve as well. As Wilson said, my quality pace would get me 13 to 16, so I'd rather start last and out of any carnage as well. No comment on my Hungarian helmet there from young Tommy. Young Tommy's absolutely disgruntled with me. I'll have a look in a minute, my good sir. I was probably waffling on about all kinds of nonsense there. Oh, Dylan's gone wide then, so unfortunately that's not nonsense there for Dylan. He is, and also Farf is also ran wide as well in this there. Oh, they're extending the track limits here. I heard a whisper going into this event there that the Lord George was not very happy about the way that the track limits are stewarded around here, and some you can get away with some and not other. But I suppose so. If it's the same for one, then it's the same for everyone, really, I would say, isn't it, really? So maybe so to us, I would just try and get away with it as much as possible, but there we go. As you mad bro, goodness me, that is a very understeery car. Siege has gone fast, it's on a 15-1. You notice there's no medium tyres out on circuit, is there? Of course, that is because we are expecting rain in the opening stage of the Grand Prix. You mad bro's gone second fastest, but he made a mess of the final sector then. VTOL has gone second fastest now, 200 a second behind it. Siege 1. There's an Alpine car in the background of TK who goes third fastest. Also in the 16s there for TK. Great stuff indeed then. Young Tommy, let's go on board with Young Tommy. Oh, that's a lovely helmet design there as well. It's had some Hungarian colours there for Young Tommy. Absolutely love it there. Of course, it feels like he's got the Hungarian flag then. Of course, the lovely green with the bit of white and the bit of red as well. Yeah, I do love helmet designs. On this game, the helmet designs have been absolutely premium. They really have indeed there. Young Tommy, what does he enlighten us with his time? Not much, unfortunately, Young Tommy. I think he's invalidated his time somewhere, so he's going to have another bite of the cherry, isn't he? What about Immortal? Immortal's also invalidated this time as well. New Potato just starting us out then. Marky's also starting us up as well. I'm completely lost then. But here's Farf. Farf is going to save me from my wilderness here. Out of the final turn then for Farf. And I must say that Farf is on a blistering lap here, isn't he? As you can see, he's too fast for me to catch there. But I think Farf was just abandoning his lap, wasn't he? just we got Umabro. I think he's going for another by the cherry. Indeed he is. And remember, he lost a lot of time in the final section, didn't he? Umabro, he comes across the line now. Umabro finds 2/10 of a second. I was expecting to find a bit more than that, Umabro, so I'm quite surprised by that. TK just coming into the pits as well. Got FIFA Beefy. I think he's on medium tyres. FIFA Beefy. This is the only driver that's gone on the medium tyres there. We've also got Red Bull out there as well of Bradfield, who's starting his lap. What about the Mercedes? And Vital is also coming into the pits as well. I'm just trying to see who's the furthest driver around at the moment, and I'm having a really poor show of this. We've got Williams there, who's not who's invalidated his lap, so he's going to probably, is he going to go come to the pits? Indeed he is there. So the bronze world champion, or the former bronze world champion, now coming into the pits as well. Marsky is not abandoning his lap there, so he comes around the final turn and he goes across the line. He goes third fastest, and Markey does. Markey doing a great job in the Aston Martin. I really sung his praises in the British Grand Prix. Had his first podium of his career last time out there, so really he got to go from strength to strength. Talking about his strength from strength for Morton, my goodness me. 101st second in front of Siege at the moment, but he is looking strong. Is he on his debut for the Mercedes team? He has a default helmet, which I'm shaking my head in absolute disappointment there. Horrific stuff indeed there. Of course, I'd say that the most important part of a driver's repertoire is their helmet, of course. But a lot of drivers would probably say that it's more important to be fast, which probably is, but I'm all about style and substance, and over there you go. We got Bradfield then, who hasn't taken part in many qualifying sessions here this season, but he's taken part in this one, albeit this is not the quickest lap in the world, if he doesn't mind me saying so. He hasn't used much ERS at all. He isn't using any ERS at all, and that's a lot of harvesting there from Bradfield. Across the line he goes, and I'm wondering if these drivers are just gauging to see what their opponents are doing. And with the wet weather coming in at the start of the race then, I'm wondering if some drivers do not want to push to the absolute limit. Here's the debutant, and it's Florenang out of the final turn, and let's go on board then with the debutant as well. Let's see what he can do in this Alfa Romeo car as he puts it to its pace as well as we come down into turn 1. Remember, turn 1 was amended back in 2003. Was it Barrichello had a humongous smash in 2003 when his suspension broke. Kevin Magnussen went aquaplane. Well, I don't think it was an aquaplane as such. I think it was on dry tyres, wasn't he, on a wet track. He just went skiing off into the bar as well in qualifying the McLaren back in 2014. And I think also Hulkenberg had a smash there in 2016. Didn't he? Where the front wing went underneath the car there, and he went barreling into the first corner as well there, unfortunately. I'm still talking about the first corner, but I think we're now into turn 6. We are into turn 6. Well, Florin now get a bit too deep into the first part of the chicane now, which really compromises exit there. So Florin has lost a bit of time now, running wide over the curves. You don't want to get too greedy there, and if you get on the accelerator, you're going to swap ends there. And now coming into turn 12 as well. Also another new part of the circuit as well, which was I think all mended back in 2003 or 5. I think it was 5 actually, and the first memory I have of that corner is where, was it Coulthard that was tipped over there? No, that was the first corner, 2005, wasn't it? I know that someone had a big smash run there. It might have been Coulthard as well actually, because I think the Red Bull had a nightmare race in their first ever race around the Hungarian Grand Prix. But Florin there took us around the lap there, and that's a good competitive time for the Alfa Romeo car in car 42. Good stuff indeed there. Fifth fastest moment. If he stays in fifth fastest, he'll be through into qualifying 3. But that is a big if at the moment now, as of course we're not. We're only a couple of, we're not too far away, are we, at the moment now? Sorry, we're only about 7 minutes into this qualifying session. And here comes Sarah across the line as well. Sarah goes 6 fastest. I really need, I think that Sarah needs to be talked to about his helmet design now, as he's still got the default one there, which I'm absolutely ashamed by. I'm absolutely appalled at him, I say. Tommy is on a lap at the moment. Dylan is on the medium tyres here, so I'm wondering if Dylan there might be thinking that perhaps the rain is not going to be heavy enough for the drivers to start on the intermediate tyres. That must be his thinking then. Or is he saving a set of soft tyres for the Grand Prix itself, where he might feel that there might need to be a sprint finish then. Might be a sprint finish then. So out of the final turn, there comes Dylan. He goes 9th fastest then in the AlphaTauri, second in the World Championship. No, there Dylan is there. And whatever happens here tonight then, Dylan, and I think that Vital needs a Grand Prix win, and a fastest up there to overhaul him in the Drivers' Championship then. So I would say that the AlphaTauri drivers are going to be very comfortable then with maybe leaving Hungary with still the 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship, and still the Constructors' World Championship lead as well. But of course I think they'll not be aiming to minimise their action here. There's not action to minimise their potential, and to of course maximise their potential. Then, if I'm speaking absolute nonsense, then I probably am there. there. As Vince said, Jeff the Slayer equals slacker. Indeed, he is. And I could not agree with that more there. I'm a very unhappy chappy there. As I said, and I'm hoping he'll have a new helmet design next week then. But he hasn't done the first 8 or 9 races so far. But I'm very much a king of wishful thinking now. If anyone remembers that song from Go West, I'll give you a South high five. We've got New Potato in 5th fastest, and of course the first ever bronze world champion. Then, oh sorry, Jeff the Slacker there. Goodness me, yeah. As we've got New Potato then going up 3rd fastest at the moment. Sorry, 5th fastest at the moment. I'm all over the show now, aren't I? Too much banter going on. 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Not much is going on track at the moment. We've got Slayer who's on 2 laps, the soft tyres. Young Tommy, I think, is cruising back into the pits. And what about New Potato? He's also cruising back in as well. In the drop zone, we have Sirius Mushnan who's out qualifying in qualifying 2. Goodness me, there is New Potato just ran over me head. We've got Farf in 13th position. He's on the out lap now. We've got FIFA and Dylan in 12th and 11th position as well. Goodness gracious me there. We've got Gunnar saying, I go out in quality 1 every week to listen to your commentary, Sean. Oh, thank you very much, Gunnar there. Of course, Gunnar there very much, I think he wanted me to talk about his 129th Grand Prix start for ALR in all of the ALR divisions. Gunnar is only one of 2 drivers in ALR history to participate in all 4 leagues, and he drove in COBALT in the first race in the British Grand Prix. He's had I've lost my notepad now, but of course he had 79 starts in gold there, and he had 28 starts or something like that in bronze and 20 starts in a silver today. Unfortunately, Gunnar has not ever scored a point in a silver so far in his 20 starts or so for Gunnar, but hopefully he can put that wrong right then in the not too distant future then, because his best position for Gunnar in silver so far has been 12th, hasn't it there? So he would like to get 2 more positions on that best finished performance there and get some points. It's not done. So fingers crossed there from Gunnar that he gets a good performance in there. As we're now dropping down the hill then with Farfan. He's currently in 13th position now, needs to find some time now. Gurman is saying, come on McLaren now, as we have got Casal saying, go Ferrari then. As of course the joint constructors there, I think I mentioned this last night, but I'm going to mention it again now, because absolutely fantastic stuff from the AlphaTauri. My goodness me, they've got some super teams, haven't they, in the all 4 divisions, all 4 leagues, as we got Farf flicking it into turn 4, and oh gosh, he's got a bit too greedy on the exit, Farf has, and that's a slap on the wrist there. Farf unfortunately is invalidated this time, and he's going to have to go around again, unfortunately then. Oh dear, oh dear. As I'm glad that someone's listening to me then, because Liam wants to know if it was your driver that completed in all the divisions there, as Liam is a big fan of some of my stats, isn't he there? I'm sure he is anyway. Of course, the other driver was Bulky Volcano, of course, who drove, I think he had 5 starts in gold there. He had a couple of starts in Cobalt. He had a few starts in silver and a few starts in bronze as well. Not as many as Gunnar there, but that's a lovely stat as well then. So yeah, good stuff there from Bulky Volcano and from Gunnar. So hats off those drivers there for participating in every single league. Serious question, I go out quality because I'm crap and I have to listen to Sean Gunnar as well. Oh goodness me, but I don't think you're crap by any stretch of imagination, Serious Russian, because of course he is a Grand Prix winner in silver, isn't he? Serious Russian, he has some, and he is participating in every single silver Grand Prix in history of ALR. I love this stat as well. Of course, we know how many silver Grand Prix we've had. We're up to this is 73rd Grand Prix start. Fantastic stuff there. I think the only drivers to tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I think the only driver is there to participate in a race without missing one, and whether of course that does include if they get relegated or promoted or all that kind of stuff. And because Ayrton has never missed an ALR race, then it doesn't matter if he's driven in silver or gold, then silver or bronze I should say. As Dylan comes across the line, he goes 7th fastest at the moment there, and there's a couple of drivers as well, I think from bronze as well, who hasn't missed a race either. I think Boots Delight hasn't missed a race either, I don't think. So good stuff indeed there. And there was someone else as well, Serious Mushroom, and I've forgotten who it was now. Goodness me, I'm ashamed. We got Dylan in of 7th position at the moment, so he has improved slightly. Vital's retired from the session at the moment. I've completely gone off the rails in this qualifying session as well. I'm not really. What about Farf? He went off the rails in this opening lap then, but what about the second by the cherry? He goes 9th fastest. That's not very comfortable from Farf though. He's going to be sitting on the edge of his seat, I would say, as I don't think Bradfield's invalidated his time, so he's going to have to have another nibble, isn't he, at that cherry? here comes that Flo, and then Far. Oh gosh, coming out the final turn. And we're just watching there as well. 3/10 of a second up in the second split time as well. Out of the final turn, as we've got Gordon saying, if you're supporting Ferrari, I'll not recommend watching qualifying one then, as we're out of the final turn. And there goes 7 fast at the moment. 2 thousandths of a second away from Mark at the moment. He's currently through into qualifying 3, and we have got Marky, who's got a 7 fast. I think TK's just got up to 6 fast actually. He has indeed in the Alpine car. Lovely stuff indeed there. Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. And Vince saying that Gunnar not got 100%. Then I don't think he has that, because Gunnar got banned for being a naughty gentleman. I think something we won the race. I can't remember if it's a Japanese Grand Prix or not last season. FIFA Beefy 2/10 of a second, then up in the first intermediate split time. Then Bradfield there in the second split time as well. This is Bradfield's best qualifying performance per date. Then well, in the last couple of races anyway. Out of the final turn then for Marky, coming over the grid. Hatchins out. He goes into 7 fast. It doesn't improve on that lap there. I wonder if he might be a bit disappointed that. Farfus abandoning his time. He's into the pit lane, Farfus there, so he's out of qualified. Bradfield is around 4 seconds in the second intermediate split time. That's a cracking for second sector there for Bradfield. Out of the final turn, and is it going to be enough there? It is enough. Bradfield is through into qualifying 3. That's the first time he's been into qualifying 3. It's between Dylan, the bronze world champion, and FIFA Beefy. FIFA Beefy, to me, has been struggling there. But remember, I am no expert by any stretch of imagination. Has FIFA been bringing out the sandbags and across the line? He stays 13 fast, unfortunately, in the Alpine car. He is out of qualifying now. And that is... that's FIFA. New man, bro, also out of qualifying as well. I'm quite surprised by that one actually. That you mad bro, because I'm not sure if he went out for another by the cherry. Serious rush around qualifying, you mad bro, FIFA Beefy and Farf, and also Florin is out of qualifying as well, unfortunately. Those are our 5 drivers and it's been knocked out of qualifying 2, as we're now accelerating into qualifying 3, where we're going to find out who is on pole position then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Really, so it's good. I must say, is this going to be an important qualifying session now? Potentially, but I haven't said that there. I think that the Spanish Grand Prix in the real order form, when the Spanish Grand Prix has had a better pole position to win conversion than the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we've only had 3 wet races in the Hungarian Grand Prix as well, haven't we? So this is a race that really seems to throw a spanner or 2 in the works, doesn't it? It's a very technical race, wasn't it? FIFA invalidated 15-7. Never mind now for FIFA for FIFA Beefy, which that would have got him through into 8th position. That would have ran the Slayer mark, and that would have knocked Dylan out there. So Dylan might be happy at that. Siege and Immortal, 5 fans a second there between each other. Then V Top there is also in on that action as well. Look at that, 4,700 seconds separates the top 3. It's ridiculous, isn't it? The ALR this season is. We had it in bronze last week as well. Hopefully Liam can remind me how close it was. But I think it's like first 5 drivers within a 10th of a second. It was ridiculously close, wasn't it? Goodness me, much too close for me to understand that. Sarah Smasher in 15th, Umantbro down in 14th there, 13th is FIFA, Farf in 12th, and Florin in 11th position, Florin in 11th position now, as we go into qualifying 3, and who is going to be on pole position then for the Hungarian Grand Prix for silver? Well, this in terms of the form, but this season we've got New Potato, who's had 1 pole position, Welshman. Oh, I thought it was raining then. Welshman Nada with 2 pole positions this season. She's got the most in the current, in the 4. She's got the most in silver so far, apart from Curly, who is no, Curly ain't got no pole position at all, has he? So yes, Nada has the most pole positions there. We got you mad bro on a pole position. You mad bro on pole position last time out. Young Time's been on pole position, as has TK as well. So yes then, so we're going to get a new pole set tonight then. So the Mercedes is primed and ready to go then. Liam saying the top 8 within a 10th of a second now. Yes, I'm glad that Liam's listened to me. Good stuff indeed there. And that's why I have loved to have him in the comments as well, as he really he's usually my safety net, isn't he? Along with Gurman in a COBALT, of course, and of course Farf, who's I don't think he's in the comments much these days, is he? Farf, isn't there? Probably because he's making a nuisance of himself somewhere else. I do feel sorry for the likes of J-Dog and Smithfield Mighty, and I think it's Winnie as well, who unfortunately has to share a party with Farf in COBALT on Wednesday night. I absolutely feel dreadful for them because goodness me, how do they race there with Farf in your ear? I have no earthly idea. Incredible stuff. But Serious Rush saying I bet I'm the only one on the wet setup there. Of course, Serious Rush brings up a very interesting point here about the wet setups. Formula 1, modern day Formula 1 cars, is there a difference between the wet and the dry setup? Of course, there used to be a huge difference, didn't there, in the old school of Formula 1 then? And I would say that there is still quite a big difference there, isn't it? Especially around here, you want as much downforce as you can on these cars. You've got to have a lot of downforce on these cars anyway, because you're going to say, so you've got a bit of very much like a barge wing at the end of that, at the end of the car, haven't you? Of course, in Belgium in a week's time, they're going to have quite low downforce, not as low as Monza, for example, but my word there, you're still going to have low downforce there, because the drag race from La Source up to Lake Com, the turn after lap 1 is going to be absolutely sublime. It's going through Blanchemont into the bus stop as well. As you can tell, I am very excited about the Belgian Grand Prix. It's the best racetrack in the world, in my opinion. It has everything, cracking straights there, flowing corners, tight chicanes, and of course the legendary daunting Eau Rouge there, and Radion as well. We got New Potato, who of course is on the lap in turn 5. You don't want to touch the inside curve there, because you'll be hung out to dry, and you'll be spinning like a Beyblade, and going through the going through 6 and 7 there. We're saying all blue and green in qualifying 3 again. My OCD loves that. I think, to be honest, it's also the same with Store as well, isn't it? Really, in silver at the moment there, with the Williams, the Mercedes, the Alpine, the Red Bulls there, and of course the Alpha Towers are so quick, isn't it? All those 4 or 5 teams are at the moment. It's incredible, to say the very least. Is indeed there. Search Russian Jeepers, Jake. You and colours to honest, it gives me a nice satisfaction as well. Actually, when I watch these streams back later, of course I'll watch them back muted, because I don't want some ginger fool talking at me. Across the line there comes New Potato. He goes faster so far on a 15.5 to set us on our way then. What about the other Alpha Tower? And young Tommy goes second fast. He's half a second down. The championship leader is. Oh my word there. So he's a bit behind the able mode. Siege is invalidated this time there. So Siege is going to have another bite of the cherry. What about the Mercedes? And there's one Mercedes. The other Mercedes of VTOL is right behind him. VTOL is looking strong. He's very quick around here, VTOL. And this is home Grand Prix as well for VTOL as well. As the hero has come home, hasn't he? Immortal across the line. He is faster. What about VTOL? He's invalidated his time, hasn't he? VTOL has it. So he's going to have another bite of cherry. What about Dylan, the bronze world champion? He's invalidated as well. All about Markey out of the final turn of 14 then on the DRS button. As quick as you like there for Markey. He is in the ballpark. He is, isn't he? He's done a 15.5 there as well. My word there. Immortal's gone quick itself, but oh gosh, he's off the circuit there. Immortal's on pole position there. 14.889 so far for the Mercedes driver. Impressive stuff indeed. What about Siege? Siege is now going for the second bite of cherry. Now, good stuff indeed then. As Liam saying, I'm pretty sure I ran a 10-11 wings last night in the dry anyway, so I don't think there's much difference there, Liam is saying that. As Gordon's also saying I've got a 10-11 on the dry, so I don't know if I can increase it to 11-11 there. Maybe Serious Russian there was trying to see how much I know about setups, and I think he has caught me out, because I know absolutely nothing about setups, do I really? I usually steal someone else's. It may be, to be honest, it depends who's the quickest on my time trial, really. Is there whether I fancy stealing Murphy's, Serious Mushrooms, or anyone like that, really. To be honest, though, having said that, you really, I really do look for someone who's got really good setup knowledge. Siege goes second fast, I'm on a 4/10 of a second now away from Immortal at the moment, who is the quickest, and I've really hurt my wrist somehow. Oh, I've got cramp. We've got Bradfield going at 9 fast, and then I think VTOL has got a second bite of cherry, second win there. He's in third fast in the Mercedes. Cracking time there for VTOL. Lovely stuff indeed there. Young Dylan has gone 6 fast on it. What about Bradfield there? He is starting his lap as well. Last season's pole position time around there in the Hungarian Grand Prix is a 1:13 by X Gamer there. A 1:13 at 7:42. So we're a bit a long way behind there. We're about a second away, aren't we? Here in the Hungary ring then. So it just shows that the points of downforce that we have lost from last year's cars to this year's cars have really shown up around this circuit, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. Search Russian, no difference score. It's the suspension that's different. So leave it there. So Search Russian there is maybe had a tinker then with the setups. Well, he's had a tinker with the setups with the suspension. That's there. It'd be interesting to hear what your thoughts on that then is. So what does that do then? I hear you. What I hear you asking. I'm going to say I don't really know. So if someone can enlighten me, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Really. We got Gordo going. Then FIFA saying it's only Inter's two drives. Dry setup would be better, I think, than for FIFA. I'm loving these drivers. They're really Bradfield is invalidated this time. So V-Todd, oh no, V-Todd is in the wall. Oh my gosh, they're in the V-Todd. Then of course I was hoping he'd have another lap then and go on board with V-Todd. This is home Grand Prix tonight, and he is in the barrier. He is in the wall. He is out of qualifying there. Oh no, that's such a shame indeed that Dylan there is crawling back to the pit side. I think he's ran out of fuel there, hasn't he? Bradfield invalidated his time then, so he's going to have to go around again. Slayer and TK have also not said at times just either, have they? So FIFA is saying, and it doesn't really matter then, does it? Because if it's intermediate to dry set, then it's not going to be too heavy the wet set. So surely if you can live with the dry setup, you have to take the dry setup, don't you? Perhaps then, as we've perhaps indeed that. Of course, I'm also making notes then as we go along on this one. So when I race on Thursday night, which I highly doubt is going to rain on Thursday night in Abu Dhabi, of course, for PBE, but you could never tell because it did rain in Abu Dhabi. Bradfield off the circuit there. It rained in Abu Dhabi in the season finale of season 2 where Gurman clinched the world championship from Murphy in that incredible showdown. I would say that's ALR's best championship showdown in all of ALR history. We did have a great showdown between Granty and Emerson, but unfortunately Emerson went to the back of Murphy in the first corner of Abu Dhabi, which really kind of eliminated the power of the championship. But Silver's championship showdown of season 2 was absolutely cracking, wasn't it? I love that. Bradfield goes 8 fast. I'm wondering if there should be one in the tank for Bradfield. Has he got time now to come in the pits, change tyres and go back out? Lovely shot here from the rear wing of New Patel going down into turn 1 as the marshal waving the green flag said I think it was for the Red Bull get on the way there quite kindly indeed then. Gordo saying we've also got Vinny saying Sean stealing Emerson setups. Me too. Yeah, I think I messed up. Oh well. As DJ Death Dragons are better. As New Patel then, it looks like he's cruising here. So he's had some issues there, hasn't he? New Patel has, unfortunately. Luckily, my stream is about 20 seconds behind, so I can see what happened there. And I think I missed it twice actually because I've looked up and he had a problem with turn 1 by the looks there. So there you go. That's what I get for not paying attention, ladies and gentlemen. There, shame on me. Here comes young Tommy the championship leader though. He's gone purple in the first sector. Cracking stuff. But Serious Merchant there thinks he may have messed up, but however, of course, it's very difficult to overtake on this circuit then. So Serious Merchant might have the upper hand. Oh my word, Darren. Young Tommy was also in the wall there. My word. So I thought he was spinning off there, but luckily he kept out of the bar then. So we're just watching Marky now, who is the other driver on the lap at the moment. With a couple of minutes to go in his qualifying session, and who is going to be on pole position at the moment as Mortal making his debut tonight then in the Mercedes. This is third Grand Prix start for Silver. He's never been on pole position before in Silver. He's never been on the podium before in Silver either. But remember, he has won 2 Grand Prix in bronze, hasn't he? Of course, he won in the British Grand Prix. Oh no! And the Austrian Grand Prix as well. As I'm randomly screaming out numbers, words there. Of course, Marky went wide there, unfortunately, so he's invalidated this time. New Patel going for it again. Here's a Mortal then, 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Flicks it through turn 3 there, not even a problem there. Siege shouldn't be here like Siege shouldn't be here as it's like Tommy driving in Cobalt as Siege is a pretty quick customer there. Immortal's quite quick as well at the moment. I got to say, I think Immortal has been the quickest so far out of everyone that's been racing so far. I think that Immortal at the moment there is probably going to be some cause for concern there for the drivers at the moment. He's in the full-time seat. Siege is just a reserve driver at the moment, isn't it? As Serious Russian, we are under siege then, of course, and that is a cracking punter, and also reminds you of a very good film by Steven Seagal. Was it Seagal? It's Seagal, isn't it? I think it is, isn't it? Wasn't it where they was on that boat? I think he was a sailor, wasn't he? Oh my word, there, and Immortal's invalidated this time. He's gone quicker by a fraction, so that was an absolutely incredible lap there. But unfortunately, that mistake there may cost him pole position. And what about Siege then? As Serious Rush said, they are under siege, but Siege has gone quicker by a fraction as well. It's not enough for pole position at this moment in time. Then what about New Patel then? He's a 10th for a second up. New Patel is canning for the side of the front row. Not quite. He is on the second row at the moment now. Good stuff indeed there. Now here comes young Tommy. He's gone off somewhere. He's 9 seconds off the pace for young Tommy. He's got one more shot then. Oh, about Slayer. Into the final turn as well. No, the 13th turn. And here's the final turn then for Slayer. Out of turn number 14. And he's hugging the inside corner. Accelerates away. And here comes Slayer. He's on. 7th position, great stuff indeed there for us there, about 33 hundredths of a second in front of Dylan, who is second in the World Championship. So that is a pretty mega time indeed there for us there. Really good stuff indeed. I'm loving that. Fantastic. Bradfield there is currently just about to go onto a hot lap as well. Immortal is not on a hot lap as he is backed off. What about Young Tommy? Young Tommy is in the second sector there, but again he's getting a bit squirrely, isn't he? Young Tommy doesn't look like that back end is bolted to the floor much, does it? Goodness me, it's wagging its tail like a happy puppy in the AlphaTauri. Goodness gracious me then, has got Dylan out of the final turn, so he's got one more chance then to see what he can do there. Who is the next car around out here? I think it's Bradfield, isn't it? No, Bradfield's just starting his lap. I'm looking for that dark blue car. It's TK who's just starting his lap, so I think it might be Siege. It is Siege then starting his lap then. What about Young Tommy then? Young Tommy's invalidated, so they've all got one more run then, and I've got to say this is going to be a cracking end to qualifying as well. Here we go then, and this is going to be a good one, isn't it? On board Bradford then, so I think he's going to be the first driver to complete his lap, or is it going to be Slayer? Slayer though is going to be the last driver across the line then, so keeping on the second Red Bull, but here's the first one. Slayer, Bradfield's a 10th of a second up in the first split time here. Good stuff then for Bradfield. Going into the twisty part of sector 2. Yellow flag, that's a Mercedes. It's Immortal off the circuit there. He's damaged the car. Immortal has damaged the car then, as Bradfield get a bit slippy inside. He's found half a second in the second split time. Mega stuff indeed there for Bradfield. Fantastic. And now into turn 13 then, hugging the inside there. Don't want to take too much of the curb then, because it'll spin you off then. Into 14 as well. We've got AlphaTauri as well, who's in a bit of trouble there. One of the AlphaTauris, the major issues there at turn 5. Bradfield across the line. That's a cracker, Tom. He's on the second row of the grid. Bradfield is. He was a absolute diamond in qualifying last season, and he's shown it again this season. Mega stuff indeed there. Immortal unfortunately has finished qualifying. Siege has as well. Both the front. Oh my gosh, and Siege is in the barrier. He got on the power a bit too heavily there, and he has spun around then. Marky has finished his qualifying up. Young Tommy is on board with Young Tommy. We've got Slayer who's out there as well. What about Dylan? Dylan is finished for the time then. What about TK? He hasn't set a time yet. Comes across the line for the Alpine car. He goes fifth fastest. TK does good stuff for TK. Oh goodness me. Absolutely impressive stuff indeed then. I'm trying to look see who's up next across the line. Here's Slayer and he is out of the final turn as well. Dylan down in 10th position. Dylan is finished. Young Tommy's finished as well. So here comes Slayer, and it's 9th on the grid there. My goodness me, but it's Immortal on his debut tonight for the Mercedes team on pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Magnificent stuff there for him and the Mercedes team. So that'd be and so that would be, that's his first pole position. I think that's Mercedes' first pole position of the season as well, if I'm not very much mistaken. Mercedes are the Constructors World Champions, aren't they? And that is their first pole position. They've had 2 Grand Prix wins this season, Mercedes have, but that is their first pole position and in qualifying this season. So good stuff indeed. We're just watching the star of qualifying, in my humble opinion. Bradfield there is full fast. He was really quick in qualifying last season, but today he's very much nailed it on the technical twisty circuit of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and he is on the second row of the grid there. Surely Bradfield will be aiming to score some major points here tonight, as he's got 25 so far, but it'd be hoping for a podium, I would say then, at the end of this one. Gordon saying, wow, Immortal. Young Tommy saying, damn bottle, that's job team there. So we've also got Vince saying, well done, Bradfield as well. 3 tenths of a second then between Immortal and Siege. That's the top 2. New Potato in 3rd position with Bradfield in 4th. And as I said, he's my star of qualifying. TK in 5th position, V Todd in 6th, and what could have been for V Todd? He was quick tonight, wasn't in this home Grand Prix. Well, it's not his home Grand Prix, is it? He's from Bulgaria. So I've got that completely wrong there, so I apologise profusely to V Todd. But goodness me then. I think if my geography's right, is Bulgaria close to Hungary, or am I absolutely, am I really completely wrong? I think I am, ain't I? But nevertheless, V Todd having a cracking race qualifying session so far. Brilliant stuff indeed. Of course, I think if Billet race smart, this is his home Grand Prix, isn't it? So we'll be looking at Billet as the hometown hero tomorrow. Serious much saying good luck all Bradfield winning the race, and then there is the rain, and it's a greasy surface out there, isn't it? It is the intermediate tyres for the drivers. We've already had a bit of debate, haven't we, about the setups and things like that, and of course FIFA doesn't think it's going to rain for long. Then Serious Much has gone for a full wet setup by the sounds of things, unless they're both bluffing me, and of course that's why I'm not very good at the old poker. But we're now a couple of seconds away, then everyone sees seems to be on the intermediate tire side. It is not completely well. Now look at this, and it's quite a dry surface there was. A damp surface, isn't it? A greasy, damp surface, which is probably more difficult to drive in than perhaps a full wet circuit that we had in COBALT here last season. But nevertheless, let's go for the grid shot from front to back. No bowling into turn one there from Liam. As from Liam, of course, I don't think anyone is going to do a Bottas into turn one. Well, I certainly hope not then. But I don't expect anyone to be in the same boat as Bottas either, because I think he was in desperation mode. As we're now then going for the grid, and Immortal is David Knight. Then he is on pole position then for the Mercedes team. Then that's Mercedes' first pole position of the season. They've had 2 Grand Prix wins courtesy of Curly, and now Immortal has really taken up the mantle, hasn't he? He is currently in 18th in the World Championship. Immortal is but my goodness me, he's really come in here and really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't he? Siege is second at the moment. Third position is New Potato. Fourth position, look at the rain there. It's quite heavy down this part of the circuit. We hardly see through the haze there. Bradfield, his best qualifying performance of the season. Fantastic in fourth position in the Red Bull. He's going to be on it like a car bonnet, I'm sure of it. TK in fifth position there. The Alpine. V Todd in sixth there. Who's looking strong earlier on, wasn't he? Markey in seventh there in the Aston Martin. Young Tommy, the championship leader, down 8th for this never qualifying. It's not his strongest it's not his strongest suit, is it? So what can young Tommy do from now? I expect he can still probably be aiming for a podium at the very least then in these tricky conditions. Slayer in 9th position. Both Red Bull drivers looking strong right from the get-go. It's like good to see. Dylan in 10th position, the other Alpha Tari. Florin in 11th position there, just outside the top 10 on his debut on, and good luck to Florin. 12th position is Farf. 13th position is FIFA Beefy, then FIFA struggling in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Umadbro, of course, had one of the drivers' his career, I'm thinking out in his LR career, I would say. And remember, he's had a couple of Grand Prix wins as well. He did say last week, though, it was probably one of his best drives ever, but unfortunately, he came up short with just a corner to go. He is in 14th position now. Serious Russian there in 15th, and of course, unfortunately, did take part in qualifying too. Reflections in 16th, and with Marsky 17th, Gunnars in 18th, Wilson in 19th position, and 20th position is Gordo, who only did a couple of laps there before he only did one lap there before having a crash there, didn't he, unfortunately? Right then. All on the intermediate tires then. And I thought it was absolutely raining outside as well then. Goodness gracious me then. Here we go then for the start of the race then. As this is going to be very good stuff indeed there. As thank you to Marsky as well, as who is tweeted at ALR as well. Good stuff indeed there. Of course, I would not normally notice that, but I'm standing in for Becca, which is probably why the tweets don't make much sense this week then. As she's on Freshers Week then as well. So our social media manager has left me with the keys to the car, which is not a good sign at all, is it? Alright, the red lights are on then. The tension is building up. The drama is electric here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. The revs are on for Immortal. It's lights out, and it's go, go, go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And I think Immortal, contact at the back, and Gunnar's out of the race already. And that's a major problem there, and that's when the Red Bull said it has dropped right down the order. Bradfield is not gone at all, then has he? My goodness me, I've missed that completely. But Gunnar out of the race, and it's a virtual safety car. And I don't know what happened there, if I'm honest. The Giants wheels go then. Didn't the car not move then? And I'm just taking a look there. I think though Gunnar, just lost it on his own, but it looks like he spun the wheels there and spun it and into the barrier, and he is out of the race already. Virtual safety car at the moment there. So this virtual safety car there is going to just neutralise the race for the minute. And albeit the race hasn't really got going, has it? Bradfield is down 19 positions there. What happened to Bradfield? He just didn't get off the grid, did he? So his press qualifying performance has gone absolute to pot then before he even got past the first corner. Siege has taken the lead in the Grand Prix with Immortal dropping down to second there. Oh dear, oh dear. TK's also dropped down 10 positions as well then, so it's a nightmare start for TK and Bradfield there. I don't think they were starting behind each other, were they? Or were they? Or was TK was TK an innocent party there? Well, up 6 positions, Umadbro. He loves these two conditions, don't he? Up 6 positions, Gordo as well. Unfortunately, Bradfield and TK are the biggest losers there off the start line, and they have dropped down 10 and 15 positions each there, which is not good at all then. And that is such a shame. Drive-through penalty for Marsky for speed in there. Oh gosh, and Umadbro has come to blows with young Tommy there. As of course, it's a difficult place to overtake now. Umadbro spin the car back round, so it's a great start. As unfortunately come undone there. We've also got Reflections dropping down the order as well. Sears pushing down into 18th position now. That one completed, then the gap between himself, between Siege and Immortal is 7/10 of a second. He sets the fast up the race there. And Immortal, Noob Potato in third position there. Fourth is V-Top. No DRS just yet. Marquis is now in fifth position there, but he's got a Q car to Slayer, who's up 3 positions. Young Tommy is now in the 7th position. We've just said him and Umabro come the blows there at turn 12. Look at that. It's not a greasy, it's just a greasy track, isn't it? It's going to be very difficult, these conditions there, to start us off at. Farfet's flying out. He's up the inside. He's pushing FIFA wide there. FIFA's not going to appreciate that too much, is he? Farf does like to get his hours out, doesn't he? But where is he? Oh, FIFA there, just going back on the inside. Is Gunnar left possession. He's going to be absolutely distraught with that. I think he lost it himself of the starting grid. I think he did. I'm not sure. We'll have to come back to that. Hopefully Gunnar can enlighten me in the comments there. But this is going to get very interesting though. Liam has just said it's going to be Mercedes versus the Williams team. It is. It's like the British Grand Prix back in 2015. It's Farfet's past FIFA and moves up to the 9th position there. So far, a much better racer than he is qualifier. He's never had a pole position, I don't think, in all his ALR career, but he has got 4 Grand Prix wins now, hasn't he? 3 in gold, 1 in silver now. So Farfet's very much a racer, isn't he, rather than a qualifier. Young Tommy now, another driver who's much more of a racer than a qualifier, leading the World Championship. He's got quite a nice lead at the moment in this championship, and I think he's going to be sitting very handsomely at the top there. Young Tommy is there. Of course, he's had 6 podiums in his first 8 Grand Prix in silver, and 8 Grand Prix. Who's that? That's Farf off the circuit now, and he has spun off. But all his hard work has come undone. There didn't have to take a evasive action, and Marsky is up 6 positions. Gordo is up 8 positions there, but they're going to come to blows out of the final turn there, and the Farf is off there. He's trying to stop the car from speed. He's backed into the wall, and that is going to be damaged there from the rear of the car, surely. Oh dear, Marsky is now on the inside there. Dylan going to turn one, but Dylan is saying no dice. 2.5 seconds gap between Dylan and Faye for Beefy as they come out of the turn 1. Oh gosh, I've got to catch my breath here. My goodness me, look at the tyre tracks. That's why it just shows how light the rain is out there at the moment. There, isn't it? It's just a sprinkle of the wet stuff, isn't it? Gordo is now going to be very much keeping Marsky in his reach there. Marsky, I must say, I think the Marsky's been absolutely a revelation, hasn't he, really? Because he was feeling very down in the dumps, wasn't he, after the opening exchanges of Bahrain. But my goodness me, though, he is a points machine, isn't he, for the Alfa Romeo team, doing an absolutely fine job. Marsky is. I think he's one of my drivers of the season so far. I'm really good. Indeed. Florian is one of my drivers of the race so far. Fantastic. He's up 8 positions there. Oh, as I just talking to Marsky, he's got past Dylan. Dylan's got on the outside there. Oh my goodness me. Dylan there, who's second in the World Championship, is struggling in these conditions. There isn't the AlphaTauri. He is dropping positions now. Is he, Dylan? So Dylan is now out of the points as well. And that is crucial, isn't it? Of course, on the Constructors Championship at the moment, but certainly in the Young Tommy is up the inside of Slayer. He's got it, has he? Oh, but Slayer has got the inside for turn number 14 then. And Young Tommy, look at that. That's confidence of the man, isn't it? The man who's in the World Championship. Fantastic. And Marsky's into the pits. So Marsky is coming to the pits. Now Slayer's coming, go back at him, then going down into turn 1. Then he's going to break later. Then Slayer thinks about it, but he thinks better off it at this stage of proceedings. Marsky's in the pits. Farf is in the pits as well. So those two drivers have how many issues then? The rain is still coming down the mountain there, so it's not eased off it just yet, has it? And that Mercedes there that Mercedes V-Top was very close to the back, wasn't he? Of I think it's of Noob Potato. Now look at this, and this is a cracking battle as well. Siege is now a second and a half in front of him. Immortal who's in second there. Noob Potato in third with V-Todd in 4th position. At the moment, I think the close battle track is actually a Florian. It's Slayer, Young Tommy, and Marsky. Look at this, they've caught up to the back of Marsky quite quickly as well. Look at this, and Marsky in 5th position there. I think the Marsky is not feeling too happy in these wet weather conditions at the moment, is he? And he's now got a bit of a conga line for him behind. And then FIFA Beefy, 2.5 seconds back. Then Gordo's now got past in as well. Dylan is dropping like a stone. I say he's dropping like a stone then, but Marsky got past him, but he's coming to the pits, and now TK is all over the back of him as well. Dylan is not liking these wet weather conditions, is he? And he's really struggling out there at the moment in the AlphaTauri. He's going to have to ride the storm, I think. Look at this, as you mad bro up the inside, passes TK. Oh gosh, TK's going to try to go back up and under there. As you mad bro tried to take the racing line, didn't he? But TK was still there, and is TK going to lunge up the inside? You mad bro's giving room there. He's giving room, but you mad bro love the inside there, but he's not going to get much traction on the outside there. Great 17 there. Florent is out of the race there. Oh, and Sergio Perez crashed there, didn't he? Safety car has been deployed in this race then. Oh dear, oh dear. And Florent in his debut race, who's on a magnificent drive upstairs, crashed heavily into the pit wall, out of the race there. probably got on the loud pedal a bit too harshly out of turn number 14, out of the Grand Prix, and he's going to have not the long walk back to the pit, is he? But I think the Florian in qualifying has done a really good job, and he also did a good job in the race as well. Into the pits, there comes Marski. And Marski then, I think this is his second pit stop already then. We've lost two retirements, or we've lost two cars already. It's fresh to be tyres out for Marski as well, as he's got a free pit stop then, so why not? Bradfield, Lancashire down 18 finish there, so Bradfield, I'm not sure what happened to Bradfield, but he is like right at the back of the field. That's such a shame for Bradfield, isn't it? And there's Marski in front of him. Is he going to go down in front? I don't think he is, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he's a little too far back. Far forces down into the back of the field as well. Is anyone going to come into the pits then? I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure, which is not very helpful, is it, to be honest, but there we go. The only drivers to come to the pit so far is Marski, Bradfield and Favre. I'm wondering if the Serious Motion will be able to get a free pit stop here, wouldn't they? Because there's no one who will overtake them on end. So I think the Serious Motion surely will come in the pits out. Fresh intermediate tyres out, which he might have a pace advantage then after the first couple of laps from the safety car. Just watching Siege then, as he is just is he going to come in the pits at Siege? No, Siege is staying out. I think all the front runners are probably going to stay out then, because I don't see that there's going to be much advantage then, as we're only on lap 5 in this race, and there's not much advantage to come in the pits, I would say. Of course, no one is coming in the pits at this stage of proceedings. Lap 5 out of 35. Then we've got 30 laps to go in this race, so there's still a long way to go. Then I'm not sure the rain is going to be stopping. Well, in probably a few laps, I would say. Then, but whether that does or not, we do not know. That is the weather forecast. Into the pits there comes Reflection. Then Serious Mushroom is staying out though, so Reflection is in there. So he has decided to come in the pits there. Take this free stop there. Reflection will lose a position there, but this might pay dividends there on them. For our mechanics, then the Scarlet Red then ready to receive their man then, and here he comes. The Reflections in and out in a flash. So good stuff. Gordo up here from 20th to grid, on 20th on the grid to 9th so far. So Gordo having a great race so far. Look how wet it is in the pit lane there. My word, there, I didn't realise how wet it was in the pit lane. That just shows that even with this light rain, the track does hold a lot of water. Reflections coming out of the pits now then, and yeah, it was just a free pit stop, wasn't it? Hopefully the safety car won't be out for too long then. There is Bernd Molander in the pits. Is there even anyone in that safety car? Goodness gracious me. Of course, we did have the Aston Martin safety car in the British Grand Prix, didn't we? So the Aston Martin will return in the Dutch Grand Prix. If we have a safety car in the Dutch Grand Prix, which I would probably say we would have, because there's no score race there. Of course, the Dutch Grand Prix in a few races time, of course, is there. Of course, next week is Belgium, which I'm very excited about. So I'm going to be, looking forward to that one. But of course, we still got 3 more races in the Hungarian Grand Prix, including this one. We had a cracking race last night. We always seem to have a good race in Hungary, don't we? This technical twisty circuit, you wouldn't expect many overtaking opportunities on here. When you look at that track map on the right hand side of your screen there, you're like, not really anywhere to overtake, is there? But my goodness me, it does cause some incredible Grand Prix racing, doesn't it? I'm just watching far from a lovely headicam shot. This is one of my favourite headicam shots. One of my favourite headicam shots was, you can see that the spray there. It looks like smoke, doesn't it, coming on the back of Far's car? We hope it's spray anyway for Farfan, because that engine is too young to smoke, isn't it, in the back of the Haas car? Of course, they got the Ferrari engine in the back of the Haas, haven't they, this season, along with the Alfa Romeo team and the Ferrari team themselves, isn't it? So we have 2 customer Ferrari engines and the free Ferrari powered teams at this season. Good 17 then. Gordo's saying 10 more laps then for rain then, 10 more minutes of rain then before so that's why not many drivers go in the pits then, because if there's only 10 more minutes of rain then, this track is going to dry up quite quickly, isn't it? We've seen last night how beautiful it can be on a clear day here in Budapest. It was absolutely a scorcher last night, wasn't it? Goodness gracious me, I just looked out the window and got sunburned. Absolutely very hot indeed, wasn't it? Also hot on the track as well, so I'm expecting it to be very similar tonight as well, where we are expecting quite high temperatures when the sun does burst from behind the clouds, and I think that everyone will be coming into the pits. But what tyres will they go on? Well, it does very much depend on when the track will dry up then, which at the moment the track is not even remotely close there to dry tyres just yet, is it there? So of course that is not good, but the drivers surely do have an idea, because Jeff will be telling them in their ears when the rain is going to stop then, or approximately when the rain is going to stop. Gordo is in line just with 10 more minutes of this rain then before it's meant to stop then, or forecast to stop. And we'll see what the driver's going to do then. So at the moment, Siege is in then, but safety car is now in at the end of that then. Bernd Molander has turned his lights off then, but I can't see Bernd even in the car. I don't think he is he? Or if he is, then he's very static. So Bird now has turned his lights off and we'll be back at race. And then once again, then Siege has led this race out from the opening lap there with Immortal in second position. About there, Immortal's been very quick in qualifying, actually, but Siege has been there or thereabouts. New Potato, I think he's only scored it once so far this season, if I'm not very much mistaken, at the Monaco Grand Prix. So New Potato really needs to get a clean pair of heels out and have a good race out as well. Of course, very similar this one to the Belgian to the Monaco Grand Prix in terms of theirs. Monaco with the bars were back green and here in the Hungarian Grand Prix now, as young Tommy's already got past Marquis now, as I think that young Tommy have caught Marquis asleep there, but Marquis back up the inside. Oh, he's got the inside of Viton as well. Marquis gone for it, all the marbles, and New Potato's got past Immortal as well. We've got two overtakes there into turn one there, and one of the drivers there just being a bit too cautious or maybe napping too much there. But young Tommy's up full position there. Viton has dropped down two in that exchange there. Immortal's dropped down the other as well. Now got Slayer who's also putting the pressure on, but FIFA Beefy in turn there is all over the back as well. He's going to have a lunge there into turn four. It's very precarious as well in there, but at the moment it's all right, isn't it? And now into 5. And we've got Marsky who's just got past of Reflection as well, and Reflection struggling there. He's got new tyres there. Reflection, that's the buff. I think he's been hung out to dry here. And Farfus now moved himself up into 16th position there in the Haas car. So Farfus there, who's also got fresh tyres as well. Good overtaking there for Farfus, lovely. So now we've got Williams 1-2, as I mentioned there earlier on the broadcast. We haven't had a 1-2 yet, and I think it's going to be the AlphaTauri. Well, all of a sudden the Williams team are now in the ascendancy, and they are leading 1-2 here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, the last team to win 1-2 in ALR, I think, was actually the Williams team in the Italian Grand Prix, and I think it was it Nunda and I think wasn't it Nunda and Velocity back in season 2 of Bronze, was it? I think. Maybe I'm wrong there, but that was the last 1-2 I can remember. Then if I'm wrong on that, then please shout. Farf is off again, then unfortunately Siege is at the fast on the race there. Farf is quick there, but he's really struggling to keep it in on the straight and narrow at the moment, isn't he? V-Top then, who would be, I'm not sure then, I think about the King himself, Ben, to lose 2 positions on the opening couple of laps here. V-Top is quick, isn't he? He probably should be a bit further up the grid than what he was there, but he's in 6th position at the moment there. V-Top is there. He would like to get past Markey, because Markey has not been too quick in these wet weather conditions so far. Young Tommy has moved himself into 4th position there, and is extending his lead once again in the championship. And what he wants to do, because Dylan's only on 1 point at the moment, his championship rival. V-Top is for the world championship, but he's in the mix at the moment, isn't he? And of course, there is young Thomas also overtaking V-Top as well, because they had quite a big gap between himself and V-Top anyway before the start of this race then. But now it's just now. It's just that now extending it. As Liam saying that me and Gurman in Mexico, which is also, I think that could be a good point. That's a very good shout actually, because of course I think that was after Italy, wasn't it? The Williams 1-2. Yeah, so that might be the case. The Haas team in the Mexican Grand Prix, which is also where I think Haas claimed the construction championship as well, wasn't it? In Mexico. So yes, very good 17th there. I'm glad that someone's paying attention now. So Liam and Gurman in season 2, he got a 1-2 there as well. Of course, I think Haas has got the most 1-2s in ALR history still. For anyway, that team combination of Gurman and Liam have the most 1-2s in history, I think, which is 3, I think, back in season 2. So incredible stuff indeed. Well, potentially then, this is going to be the we haven't had 1-2 since then, have we? Goodness gracious me! I think we had 2 1-2s actually in the Italian Grand Prix that weekend, because we also had didn't we have the Renault 1-2 as well of Emerson and Mr. Elite then. I might be making this up now as I go along, but that does feel about right. We're into turn 1. We're just watching V-Todd at the moment there. As that Siege there is now extended his lead there with himself and New Potato there. New Potato's already mentioned he's only scored once so far this season. Now that McLaren, if you mad bro, is very interested on the back of TK at the moment there. And TK is oh goodness me, just defending his line quite nice indeed. Lovely helmet design by the way from you mad bro. Absolutely outstanding stuff there. Loving that. Good stuff. I go for turn 4 as well. Young Tommy is actually the quickest driver out there at the moment in terms of the gap, gap in his rival, because he's now only 5 tenths of a second. Well, it's 4 tenths of a second. It's 5 tenths of a second away from Immortal, the pole sitter from Mercedes. Unfortunately, Immortal is lost out to Siege on the start line, and then the rolling start as well. He now lost out to New Potato, so unfortunately Siege on the safety car restart and on the start line itself, he has lost 2 positions, hasn't he? Which is unfortunate. It's a shame we can't do safety say we can't do like start line, can't do standing starts after the safety car comes, because that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Oh gosh, there's you mad, bro. That's not cool, is it? He almost was into the barrier, and now Will Snares on the inside, going into turn 12, but not quite then. Not quite then. We've also got V Todd, who is now right of the gearbox of Marky as well. Bradfield's got past Reflection and moved up into 16th position. There, Bradfield feels so sorry for him, by the way, because he's having a fantastic time. Reflections dropping right down the order. There's a few Reflections was on the wrong part of the circuit there, and here comes Marky then, and V Todd then. V Todd having a look on the inside. He was too far back there. Marky defending his position quite nicely indeed there, neutralising V Todd's momentum down the back straight, and so Marky continues his 5th position for now, doesn't he? Albeit then he's about a second and a half now away from young Tommy, and there they are in the foreground. They're really starting to peel away, aren't they? And they fly past me into turn 4 as well. It's the rain stop? No, there's still raindrops falling down there. I thought the rain was stopping momentarily. Onboard Slayer is on a great job in this Red Bull at the moment, isn't he? There, he's just staying back a moment. Slayer is. He's just waiting before he can strike down. So he's just waiting to see what is going on in front of him there. And look, you can see the queue from Slayer's viewpoint going into turn 6. You can see first all the way down to V Top there. So that must be a beautiful sight for Slayer. Then albeit he'd love to probably see no cars in front of him, but of course he would love to probably be leading this race. But still, that is very good for Slayer's point of view there, because he can see the Grand Prix lead. You can see the podium Sayers as well, and then Sayer will be absolutely loving this, won't he, in the Red Bull. As that McLaren is off, Ben, and that's a big shot there for you, man, bro. We seen him struggling last lap around there. Unfortunately, he has now hit the barrier quite heavily, you man, bro. As unfortunately, that is major damage to the McLaren Mercedes. He's going to have to pit. A lot of damage then. These wings are quite quite sensitive, aren't they? And into the pits now comes you, man, bro. He's going to need a safety car, I think, to get himself back into this race. A big blow then indeed then for you, man, bro, the COBALT World Champion. Going back into turn 1 then, V Todd still not got in front of Marky then, and we got young Tommy who's on the ascendancy as well. He's having a look up the inside into turn 2, but Malta there just about holding this line there. Look at this, and now New Potato though is really the cork in the ball here. He is driving with his wing mirrors about New Potatoes, because he can he's really defending as hard as he can. See, just now pulling away, and he's almost 2 seconds up the road. So New Potato struggling this stage of proceedings at this day, and then the rain is still coming down then, so it's now Immortal getting a bit slippy inside it there through turn 5 so before he comes into turn 6 then. Mickey Mouse chicane this one is as you do a hop, skip and a jump there, don't you, over the curbs, but of course you don't want to go too high, otherwise you cannot turn when you're in the air, can you? Because you just go, so that is not going to help you, that's not going to help you at all, is it? Young Tommy then, who is in 4th position now. He's going for 3rd then. He has been on the podium 6 times in 8 Grand Prix this season. Can he make it 7 and 9? My goodness me, fantastic performance there for young Tommy. Really impressive this season. Remember, as I mentioned, I think he would have finished 15th in the championship last season, but my word, that he's doing fantastic. DRS has been enabled. DRS has been enabled by race control. I don't think it is time for the dry tires, though, not by any stretch of imagination, but this is music to the ears of young Tommy. Into the pit circles, Todd, so the drivers are coming to the pits, albeit the DRS has been enabled, but I don't think it's dry enough out there. Young Tommy there has made the DRS work to the advance. He's up the inside and takes 3rd position. Immortal in 4th position, Marky in 5th, Wilson in 6th position as well. So we've got a lot of drivers that are coming into the pits. I don't think it's ready. I think it's too early for the slick tires. I think that and Bradfield there is fighting with Marsky up the inside. Marsky there just trying to frighten him off the road there, and now Marsky's gone up and under there, but Bradfield there is going to come back out of there, but he's left the Alfa Romeo whip from the track there, and Marsky back in front. That's great racing by both drivers. I'm loving that. Fantastic. But it's not over there. Lovely shot there from the Alfa Romeo, from the Red Bull to the Alfa Romeo. Great stuff. That's great driving indeed. Marsky, unfortunately, though, has got a 3-second penalty for his efforts there, which is a bit harsh, isn't it? So we're on board with the driver's head. Let's see then how quickly this track dries up, but it's still wet out there. Look how gingerly, that's not a ginger joke by the way, but look how gingerly they're going around the circuit there. I'm just taking a look now. I think it's too early for the wet tires, me personally then, but we'll soon find out. Look at the Ferrari, is struggling there. Really is struggling there. So, I think Gordon's probably feeling like he is driving his shopping trolley around Tesco's there. Goodness me there. There's all the wheels there are trying to, all of them trying to turn as well. Slayer has just got past FIFA Beefy has clumped over the curbs there. And now Slayer's on the hard tires and he's up in the 13th position there. The gap, what we're going to be looking for is that, and look, V Todd is making it work there because he's quicker than Reflections in front of him, albeit it's very minute that young Tommy is staying out of this stage of proceedings there. Yellow flag, Dylan's out of the Grand Prix. That's a major problem there for Dylan. And the man who's second the World Championship, that's his second DNF in 3 races out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Oh no, and that's a safety car. And I think that's going to make a lot of drivers' decisions much easier. Young Tommy, Markey, Wilson and Serge Rusher will stay out. Siege is coming out of the pits now. Marski is also coming. Is he going to be able to overtake? No, he isn't there because he's too far back. And now then, this is and the Reflections in the pits as well, and going on to lose medium tyres. And we've also got TK coming out of the pits as well. Oh, goodness me. Marski's gone in front of... oh, no, and I think he's just letting back through there. There's the safety car who is just letting the drivers go through. So, yeah, safety car and Dylan out of the Grand Prix. That's his second DNF of the season. That's his second DNF in 3 races then. And that is crucial in the World Championship as there's already a 45-point gap between himself and young Tommy. 45 points, and that could be extended quite... tenfold here tonight, can it? So Dylan now, oh goodness me, then he is going to be kicking himself. Dylan is he wasn't on the best of races, was he? He was struggling in these conditions there, and now he's out of the Grand Prix. It's stopped raining now, so I think that now maybe the time coming to the pits, I think that the soft tires, I think the drivers came to the pits. It was probably a lot too early, but we weren't going to find out then, are we? Is that now? Is that they're all coming to the pits anyway? I would presume because it's And Slayer saying he chose medium tires. But the pit lane gave him hard tires. But that's not good, is it? So he's not too happy with that hitting the Red Bull garage there. Slayer saying, but Slayer didn't go. But Slayer should be able to get to the end for the race for here. Young Tommy there, who's coming into pits. And I think that we'll see all these drivers coming in the pits now. Siege going to retake the lead of this race then, because he did pit when there wasn't a safety car. The safety car was not out for. The safety car came out quite quickly. Now then, so there is Siege coming around turn 13. We're on board with young Tommy. Is he going to be able to take the lead in the Grand Prix? I don't think Marski's in the pits well. So now the AlphaTauri team is going to have to go to work quickly. He's on the medium tyres and he's coming out of the pits. And I think he's done it here. I think he's done it. Look at their Siege coming down the pit lane as well. It's going to be touch and go. It's going to be touch and go, but I think that Siege has done it. Yes, he has. And Siege retakes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, but young Tommy has done it there. Very close indeed. There's Immortal is having a foot for this as well. Or is he? Marski's off the circuit there. Is he spun it there? Sales racing coming out as well. Just in that Liam saying Immortal jump Potato because of the double stack there. Good spot there. Yes, so Immortal has got in front of Potato as well. Potato's down in the 5th position there. Wilson up into a solid 6th position there. My word there. So everyone's now on the medium or hard tires, and Gora going off the circuit there. So I'm not sure what's going on there in the Ferrari camp. Bradfield down in 13th position there. So everyone is now on the dry tires. Oh my word, that was a cracking part of the race, wasn't it? So Siege leads the Grand Prix, and that Williams 1-2 was talking about not too long ago, well, that's completely disappeared at the moment. So Potato's got a lot of work to do as the safety cars come out there, as Dylan has crashed. So that is Dylan's second DNF of his career in silver. Unfortunately, that's his second DNF though in 3 races. And so Dylan there, who was on the march to the early stages of the season, and it's starting to go a bit peak tongue now, is it, for the championship contender between himself and his teammate young Tommy. And where does that pull him now in terms of, as already mentioned though, V Todd needs to win the Grand Prix. Immortal is off the circuit there. Oh my goodness me. Immortal has dropped right down the order there. The man who's on pole position, who's dropped right down into 50th position. I think the Reflection TK's got to get that position back, are they? I think they are indeed then. Yes, as Immortal just recovered back on the circuit, but Immortal has dropped it under the safety car. Oh my goodness me. And it's a 5. Oh gosh, we got penalties galore. And I'm wondering though if that is because of Immortal and it's spinning off there. And I think that the game might have not misunderstood what happened there, and perhaps that's why they got a 5-second penalty, maybe then, so we'll have to find out. But Immortal's got damage nonetheless anyway, so he has hit something hard, and he's into the pits. Immortal is, and this is not in the game plan. This is for the Mercedes team. He was making his debut time in the Mercedes, but this is an unscheduled stop then, and he's into the pits now, and yes, changing the nose cone there, so that is a lot of end plate missing there from Immortal, especially around here. Oh goodness me then, so he's going to have to become the driver's life for Immortal if he wants to score some points from here on in there. That is a brutal shame there for Immortal in the Mercedes as he comes out of the pits now. Leo saying scrapable, I said. There's a motor coming out the pits now after unfortunately having issues under the safety car. So let's take stock there on lap 16. We ain't even a half distance yet, are we? Goodness me. I must say, I'm getting too old for this. It's too much effort. It's too much. There's too much action going on. I can hardly contain myself. I need to. Oh my word, there. I need to calm down a bit, don't I? Lap 16 out of 35 here. Siege leads the Grand Prix. Second is Young Tommy. Young Tommy is now extended in the World Championship. He's on 45 points at the moment. Now Dylan is scored. He's got a 45 point advance. Dylan is scoring no points. The gap will now be up to 63 points if his things stays they are there. And that is a mammoth gap indeed then. If I'm wrong, please don't call me out on that one. Marky in third position there. New Potato is fourth. Wilson's on the hard tires. Slayer was not able to be on the hard tires, but maybe that might be the right call after all. And also we got Farf on the hard tires as well. Mortos just caught to the back of the Crocodile. We're back racing and the safety car is in then. Dylan's car has been carried away from the circuit there, and that is a major blow for Dylan there. He cannot lose second in today's race unless Vital gets a Grand Prix win and a fastest up as well. But the moment Vital is down in 7th position now, we've still got spots of rain there somewhere. Then so the rain has not gone away fully here in this race, so it's going to be greasy. So when is Siege going to drop the hammer then as he's coming out of the final turn now? Young Tommy, I wonder if Young Tommy's going to risk it. And look at this as he is backing them right up here now, isn't he? And now we're going Hungary then. And look at this I think Marky's been caught outside because New Potato is right on this gearbox. There's alongside. And we got Wilson who's flying on the inside. Oh, there's three abreast going into turn one there. And there's the seismic of contact and Marky's off and in the wall. Oh no, Marky's off and in the wall and he was at a cracking race there. Oh, it's all gone slightly wrong there for the Aston Martin there. Wilson down into fourth position now. And we got Viton in a FIFA beef. He also fighting away as well. Slayer's got a 3-second penalty for his troubles. Mad Bros having a 14th position as well. They're all cars all over the show here as Viton in 6th position. Oh, goodness me then. So Wilson up in the fourth position there. New Potatoes in third. Then Young Tommy in second there. They've dropped 17 second away. And then FIFA's on the inside. That's going to be contact. That is contact there. And Viton has been spun around there. Oh, goodness me there. And unfortunately, FIFA there might be getting the blame on that one as he just was a bit too going on the inside there into the chicane. Unfortunately, he tipped Viton into a spin there. Whether that's a racing accident or a race incident or not remains to be seen then. But of course, there is a very difficult place to overtake, isn't it, in the chicane. And look at this, and now we got to Bradfield, who is trying to defend from TK, but he really couldn't there because TK just forced his way through. Farfa's a man who's never tried to stick his nose in. Oh my goodness me, and he's right up the inside there in the turn 13 as well. Bradfield and Bro now come clattering each other. As goodness me there, it's a bit untidy this opening couple of laps here in this safety car, and Bro's got off as he damaged the car. That might be problems there for the McLaren. I hope he hasn't damaged the car. I'm thinking that Marky's damaged the car. I don't think Viton has he? No, he hasn't. I think he's okay. Morrissey coming into the pits and Siege leads at 6 seconds a second as Gordo's got past FIFA Beefy, or has he? FIFA been struggling this race, but Gordo, who has not had much of a cakewalk either so far in this race, is now back on the 6th position there. And look at this, Gordo getting a bit squirrely and FIFA's back through. Oh my gosh, that's Slayer into the wall. He is out of the race. That's a huge clash there. And that is a major blow. It's not a safety car, it's a virtual safety car. I thought it would have been a bit more than that then. That is a huge accident in the background. It's Bradfield, I apologise, it's Bradfield out of the race then. It's the wrong Red Bull. It is Bradfield out of the Grand Prix. And then Marky is now coming out of the pits as well. And so look at how hot it is out there. We're talking about how hot it was in qualifying, but goodness me, it's really hot now, isn't it? In the race, and of course, there's rain drops for finish. 4 seconds the gap is between New Potato and Wilson. And that is the gap between third and fourth position. That is the biggest gap then throughout the whole of the field then. So there's a third safety car then as the Red Bull. Bradfield is Red Bull is being cleared away there out of the race there. I thought it was Slayer at first then because it was around the ballpark Slayer then, but goodness me, unfortunately Bradfield out of the race, and that's 4 retirements in this race. And then this race has been a bit brutal on the drivers tonight, isn't it? Siege, Young Tommy and New Potato then have stretched away quite handsomely in the opening couple of laps after the safety car comes in the pits. Quite nicely indeed. Wilson 4 seconds better, and Serious Mushroom into a strong 5th, and with FIFA in 6th, Gordo 7th with Slayer in 8th position, TK in 9th with Marsky in 10th position. New Bro is in the pits there, and they are changing the nose cones. There was damage there. DR's been able to back race again. New Bro had a bit of a nightmare race here tonight, isn't he? Siege is back, Siege's bullet still in the Grand Prix, but we've got New Potato, and there's still raindrops on this camera. Farfair is now on the inside. Marsky, that's not going to happen. Oh my goodness me, and I thought I was going to have a big old shunt there. Farfair backed out though just in the nick of time. Goodness me. Farfair is probably one of the better overtakers in the air, isn't he? He's never shy, is he? Never shy at all in the Haas car, in car 15, and then he is in 11th position. Farfair just behind at Marsky, and this is the battle for 10th, battle for the final point at the moment. Look at how close there are. Reflections of Walter V. Todd as well. Both Mercedes are having a nightmare racing so far. They have got about 16 laps in to put the disappointing race up behind them then and get themselves back on the front foot, because at the moment neither driver is in the points. And just watching Gordo, who is in 7th position, but they have great drives out there, and I've got to say I think Gordo is probably going to be our driver today so far, but there is still, I should have said that because we're just over half distance in this race. There's still a long way to go then. It's now yellow flag in one. Oh, it's a Marquis off then, as I've got to say it's very difficult, isn't it, there, because when you have found a great race and unfortunately he's got off circuit, hasn't he? And I think that such a shame, and my goodness me, it's Siege and Young Tommy. Young Tommy is on the outside, Siege is on the inside. Young Tommy has taken the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Magnificent stuff indeed. I've just smashed my face twice. Siege there is dropped down to 2nd position because Young Tommy leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. Wow, a magical stuff indeed, as I was screaming in your ear there, and I apologise, I got too excited. Serious Mushroom in 5th position. Well, now we've got TK, who is now in 8th position there with in 9th position, say, right behind that Siege as well there. Young Tommy has taken the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. As a Reflections there has got a 3-second penalty there. Oh goodness me, TK is wagging his rear end from side to side. We've got the Mercedes all over the back of the Ferrari Reflection as well. This midfield battle, and once again then, is proven to be an absolute stellar battle indeed then. Young Tommy there is taking the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed then for Young Tommy. He's only had one Grand Prix win. I say he's only had one Grand Prix win, but my goodness me, that's not a Grand Prix when he got taken away in Austria. It's now all of a sudden he's really found himself, and look at that, he's taken as Marquis out of the Grand Prix, and that is such a shame. Siege is struggling there, because now look at this, New Potatoes up in the 2nd position. New Potatoes only had 1 points finish so far this season, which is the Monaco Grand Prix, and now he's in 2nd position as well. Well done to New Potatoes. Serious Mushroom has ascended himself up in the 4th position there, but Wilson is not having any of it, then he's coming back there, but Serious Mushroom now has the inside line there, but Wilson's trying to go on the outside. Serious Mushroom, they've got to run him out to dry there. Good stuff indeed there. FIFA Beefy also wants a part of that action as well, so they fly past me into turn 3 as well. Marquis is going to be absolutely I think he's going to be distraught, to be honest. Marquis is, isn't he? Absolutely, what a disappointing way to end the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, FIFA Beefy is now FIFA Beefy now in 6th position. Wow, Serious Mushroom. This is what Serious Mushroom is all about, isn't it? He's all about. He is definitely very much. Oh my word! There was a TK off the circuit there, and he's lost a couple of positions there. But luckily, I think he's kept on the straight and narrow. He has kept on the straight and narrow. He's just lost a position there. This is what Serious Mushroom is all about, isn't it? There, as his experience there, he's racing every single race in Silver's history. Serious Mushroom has, and once again, it is coming to the forefront, isn't it? Serious Mushroom. He's having an absolute blind of a Grand Prix. Really good stuff indeed. That is out Alfa Romeo. That's Alpine going a bit wide there. So Serious Mushroom there driving splendidly well, is he, here tonight. And then this is the kind of race there where the Haas team wants Serious Mushroom, and he is really showing his pace now. As they Serious Mushroom there would like to break that DRS out from Wilson there. He's got half a second in front. He needs to get another half a second there to get rid of that slipstream. Oh, that DRS entirely. Oh my word there. Immortal is now right underneath the gearbox. The Reflections there by 2/10 per second, and 15 cars remain then out of the 20 this side. And Newman Bro is hoping for another safety car, but he's right at the back of the field. Young Tommy leads this race then. As I was mentioning before, I got rudely interrupted then by that incredible battle between Serious Mushroom and Wilson. It's Young Tommy won that race in Austria, but that got taken away from it. Then he went to win the British Grand Prix, and now in the Hungarian Grand Prix, he started 8th on the grid, or 7th, I can't remember. remember. Now he is leading this race and is absolutely flying in the AlphaTauri. Wow, this is why he's in the World Championship, isn't it? It is his tenacity, it is his will never to give up, isn't it? And now he leads the Grand Prix. He has overtaken both the Williams cars. He has made his way through and is now the leader of the pack. He is in the AlphaTauri and he is also going to extend his lead in the World Championship. And young Tommy is having a superb drive, isn't he? My goodness me, what an impressive character this man. This is one of the most impressive drivers you'll ever see in ALR. Absolutely amazing stuff indeed. I'm just lost for words to describe this man. I've run out of my vocabulary, haven't I? Really good stuff indeed. But New Potato, the first ever bronze world champion, wants to put me in my place there, and really show that he has got some talent as well, as we're on board the nose cone on lap 23 out of 35, and young Tommy is going to be feeling the pressure. See, just dropping off the back of these two battling duo at the moment. Gordo in a 7th position now. Favre's got a 3-second penalty into the chicane as well. I gotta say, New Potato is flying around here at the moment, isn't he? Fantastic stuff indeed. Young Tommy, New Potato, Siege, that is the top 3, 8 seconds clear of the rest of the field at the moment, which is Serious Rusher in 4th position, Wilson in 5th position at the moment. We're back into the middle part of the pack here as Reflections lost out, unfortunately. So we got Serious Rusher Wilson fighting in 4th, 5th position, and then we got a QB on Wilson of FIFA and Gordo. There is 2 seconds back there from that battle. Then we've got Farf, TK, who are now the next trio of cars to come through the field there. Had a great battle as well with Marsky, 2 seconds back. Then we have Mortal trying to salvage what's been quite a disappointing day. I need to stop touching my microphone because I've smashed my face and I've now hit myself twice. Reflections in 13th position. V-Todd in 14th. Mabro is catching, but at the moment now he's cut adrift. He's be hoping for some kind of a late safety car. Mortal's now got past Marsky. There he is. He's past Marsky, moving up into 11th position. Marsky dropping down into 12th position. Reflections has gone wide. And where is V-Todd then? V-Todd then, goodness me, another driver that was having an absolutely great race, and unfortunately went a bit peak-tongue, didn't it, in qualifying, and he could have got a bit further up then, and unfortunately that's all unravelled slightly, hasn't it? Lovely. Back on board now with the Williams driver, and this is New Potato, the first ever bronze world champion. He's only scored once this season. New Potato has one driver. Has he under-delivered in his career in silver so far? I don't want to be mean to New Potato, but I think he has personally, because he's had 42 Grand Prix starts, only one race win there for New Potato, and I was expecting him to be very similar to German there, where he's going to come into silver and really be fighting for the championship. But unfortunately, New Potato, he's just been very unlucky at times, hasn't he? There, he's been involved in some great battles, hasn't he, over the years in the silver, and but he does have the most podiums in all of the full-time drivers here, with 12 so far from New Potato. He's aiming for his 13th one tonight. Then his last podium came in the Monaco Grand Prix in round 3. He hasn't scored. He's only scored once, so as the New Potato has said, he's had a bit of a disappointing season, which doesn't deserve to only have 1 points finish so far this season, because New Potato in the first couple of races was on the front row for the Williams team. They were both him and Welsh Maldonado were looking the cream of the crop in silver, but unfortunately the race days, the race times, it's unravelled a bit, hasn't it? And now just on board TK, who's now been as far as just gone and got himself up to 8th position now in the Haas car. So far on a strong couple of corners now, a strong couple of laps so far, and he's moved himself up to a very nice 8th position. Good stuff indeed there. Young Tommy though is going to be under pressure now, isn't he? I think from here until the checker flag. There's the top 3 there in a league of their own. They're fantastic. There's young Tommy, followed by the 2 Williams cars, and New Potato in 2nd position. Siege in 3rd there. Oh my word, who is going to win this race out of these 3 drivers? I have no idea. This is going to be a cracker, isn't it? Young Tommy has shown time and time again this season that he has got so much in his arsenal, as he to repel the attack, to attack as well as defend. It's really good stuff indeed there, isn't it, for young Tommy? Really impressive. And of course, I think the most Grand Prix wins in Silver's history was 12, wasn't it? Which was set by Troy as well. And I think Troy had a 15 podiums, didn't he, last season? Was it 17? I can't remember now. On the inside there goes FIFA. Wilson dropping down the order then. The hard tyres, I think the medium tyres are still strong at the moment, but I think that the hard tyres are going to come back into the groove later on this race. I think the hard tyres is going to be the tyre to be on later on then, as the sun is now beginning to shine here in Budapest, and as well as we've had a very miserable day in the race. So we had a beautiful day in qualifying, not so much of a beautiful day in the race, but now the sun is now starting to spring out from underneath the clouds, and it's been a bit shy. Now it's loud and proud. That's what we like to see, and a beautiful Sunday that is. I'm now going to put my swimming trunks on and go over and enjoy the swimming place over yonder. I love it as we're on board with we're just watching TK. I love this helicam shot. I think I've said it already, but I'm going to say it again anyway because so nice, it's so good. I'm saying it twice. TK half a second away from far from as they've left Slayer there, as Slayer has been battling Immortal, but Immortal's now also starting to leave him as well. There he is, and Slayer dropping down the order. He didn't want to go on those hard tires, did he? All the drivers on the hard tires are strong for pace, apart from Farf, I would say, but having said that, Farf is now starting to struggle for pace as well, and Gordo is now all over the back of Wilson and out of the final corner as well. They have DRS, but I think Wilson has DRS from FIFA Beefy as well. So Wilson needs to stay within the second there of the car in front, which is FIFA, to get that drag reduction rear wing then activated, which is going to help him defend against Gordo, I think, but I'm not sure for how much longer. Farf, having said that though, he's got quite a slippery car, Farf, hasn't he? But he was not really challenged too much, and just to say that, TK's on the inside, and a Farf there, it might be a bit surprising. Oh, contact, that's major contact between TK and Farf is in the wall, and he's out of the race there. Oh goodness me, and oh dear, and oh gosh, so Farf out of the race, and he is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a yellow flag, it's our safety car. Oh my word, that TK, who is not going to be a happy champion by that, as he Farf out of the Grand Prix, and that is our 6th retirement, and it is a safety car, and it is a safety car in this race, and so now this is really throwing a spanner in the works then, for the remainder of this race. And so Farf, and I think that's Farf's only Farf's second DNF this season. He's been really good, Farf has, in the Farf has been very good, I think, with the lack of DNFs this season, because but unfortunately that's the second DNF of the season. Into the pits there comes the Grand Prix leader, young Tommy. So let's see what it was. So there's soft tires there for the Alpha Tire mechanics, and going to work there. William, don't for the Williams decided not to stack there today, so Siege just stayed out. New Potato's coming. New Potato was the first car on track, so he had the premium option there. He chose it. He's in the pits there, and now is he going to get out? New Potato has not come out in front of. Not coming in front of Wilson there, but he has. I think that but young Tommy hasn't he? V-Todd now in the 5th position there. Marcy coming on the pits as well. Serious pressure on the soft tires there. Gordo coming in the pits, going on to these soft tires as well. Let's see who else. Oh, as good as me. Reflection Slayer there, almost coming close. So the Ferrari mechanics there still trying to get into position after they just serviced Gordo. That is the problem when you've got 2 cars so close to each other on the road there. Reflections just been released, and TK also in the pits as well. You mad bro, be happy with this then, because this is giving him a life around the McLaren team at the moment there. So because at the moment he was right at the back of the field there, he had no hope of points, did he, until a safety car came out. Now he is back in the thick of things. Oh, so Siege, so Siege there has done 13 laps on these medium tires there. Wilson's done 12 laps on those hard tires, 14 laps for V-Todd, 12 laps for Marsky. Everyone else has come in to the pits there. They're all on the soft tires now until the checker flag there, so we're going to have fastest laps galore. This is going to be very good. So, oh, Wilson's missed the pit lane. That's why he stayed out then. Oh, goodness me. So Wilson there is not a strategical, it's not a strategical choice there for Wilson. He's missed the pit lane. And now then is I'm hoping the safety car won't be out for too long then. Hopefully we'll be back racing around that first then when the Crocodile catches up then. So in terms of the penalties, 6 seconds of penalty for Marsky, 3-second penalty then for Marsky is coming in the pits now. 3-second penalty then for Slayer and Flex. Everyone else has got no penalties at all then, so that's very good stuff indeed there for everyone out there. Very much as clean as a whistle. Into the pits there comes Marsky, and there's Jan Lewis looking for his pit box then. The Alfa Romeo mechanics are primed and ready to go then, as they've only got one driver less in this Grand Prix now, which is Marsky. That's our only hope for points today, isn't it, there for the Alfa Romeo team? Of course, they're still going to be licking their wounds then after what happened last night then with Pillars leading the Grand Prix. But unfortunately, he was a lap short, wasn't he, of having a famous Grand Prix win for the Alfa Romeo team. That would have been Pillars' 2nd Grand Prix win of his career. Unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be, was it? So that is such a shame. So safety car out then. So Siege leads there, but he is going to be under the caution from Young Tommy. He's on fresh soft tires. Young Tommy is there. So Siege there is going to be under siege. As of course I've heard that pun already from Serious Mushroom there, but I'm going to steal it there because I'm a fun guy. So Young Tommy in second position. Third is Wilson there. We've heard Wilson there has unfortunately missed the pit lane. We got some New Potato in fourth. New Potato, as I've mentioned time and time again in this Grand Prix, has only scored once this season. A man of his talent should be in the points almost 100% of the time, but he's been very unlucky in that Williams car this season. V Todd back in the action as well, but he's also got the same life of tire as Siege said, so he is going to be struggling as well. Though three drivers who aren't come to the pits as Wilson, Siege, and V Todd. Everyone else stayed out. Gordo is very happy with his performance as well, as he is just put in the comments there. Good stuff indeed there for Gordo. Hopefully he can have a clean race until the end of the race, until the end of this, to the end of lap 35. So safety car is in the end of this lap then, and the sun is beautifully beaten down onto the track now, isn't it? Just watching Siege, and of course there was a lot of comments, of course there was a lot of concern there in the comments there about Siege running off in this race there. I gotta say, he hasn't really run off of the race at all, has it? Been I've really enjoyed this race, actually one of my favourites of Silver so far, and that's quite a big thing to say, is that Bert Mylander's back into the pits then. It's been a cracking season so far then, and of course we ain't even at half distance in this World Championship. This is only round 9 then out of a 20 round season, not as many races as one normally have in ALR, of course but we will have a massive calendar for next season as we're out of the final turn then, and here we go. Wilson's trying to attack Young Tommy, and Wilson is having a great start there actually on those hold tires and Young Tommy there is having a look down. Someone does look, New Potatoes on the outside as he feels there's a win here, and then Wilson there, and look at he's on the outside there, and New Potatoes done it, and now we got Young Tommy who's going for the lead there. He's on the outside, he's got the grip, and he has the perk as he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Young Tommy leads there, and that is always New Potato almost going off the track there. We've also got V Todd in trouble as well. Serious Mushroom's all over the back of him. Serious Mushroom on the right tyre, so Siege has dropped down in the third position. Siege is struggling this there. He is really struggling on these old tyres now. See how far down the order is he going to go. Wilson is also going to be struggling along with V Todd as well. So potentially they could help each other out, the drivers on the old tyres here potentially, but of course they're not going to, are they? Serious Mushroom there, who's a 3/10 second back. Marsky has just got past us, Slayer as well. Oh, we got a car off the circuit there. We got also FIFA Beefy is off the track as well. FIFA Beefy has had damage there. He's off the circuit there. We've got Reflections off as well. And there's all kinds of shenanigans going on in the background there. As FIFA out of the Grand Prix not out of the Grand Prix. He's limping now, isn't he? Oh dear, oh dear. Serious Mushroom then, he needs to take this. He needs to take the opportunity as quickly as he can here, doesn't he? Because I think V Todd is now going to try to settle into a rhythm there. He does have old tires, but look at this as he's pushing him out of the final turn then, and he's now going to be side by side then. V Top though has got quite a slippery car down his turn one, hasn't he? Goodness me, very impressive stuff indeed there. And then now as he goes in to turn one, that gap is going to close out. Serious Rush there to back outside. Immortal is now also going to be coming to Ascensi as well. You mad bros up to a very solid ninth position there. FIFA out of the Grand Prix in the Alpine car. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened there, but something untoward went on, and that's a shame. And Via's, oh my goodness me, it's Gordo who's was going alongside Serious Rush there through that perilous turn 3 then, which of course unravelled far for FIFA has left the session out of the Grand Prix. What a shame that V-Top there, who's quicker than Wilson at this stage of proceedings. Wilson is now a bit of a stopgap, isn't he, between himself and Siege. So Siege is now going to be quite up here this at the moment, isn't he, with the drivers behind there. Look at this queue of cars, and it just shows how difficult it is to overtake here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, it's maybe it is about track position, isn't it? Maybe on a different circuit, Wilson, Siege, and V Todd would have been swamped there, but there's only one real overtaking opportunity, and that is down into turn 1, isn't it? And even then you've got to be very daring on the brakes, haven't you? It is a very sharp corner. Oh my gosh, goodness me, I could hardly tell which was the Mercedes, the Haas, and the Ferrari. My goodness me, they were so close. And nip and tuck then. Tommy set another fast on the race, and he's going for the full shebang of points, isn't he? And there is the Williams side. As Siege said, look at this, DRS has now been enabled then, so this might make it slightly easier for Serious Mushroom. Serious Mushroom will not get the DRS effect though until the end of this lap. Then he is up the inside of V-Todd, and V-Todd just pushing, and now he's got it in, and V-Todd dropping down the order, and now look, his Gordo now switches from the outside to the inside, but V-Todd is having none of it then. Oh no, that's a day later short for Gordo. He has spun the car around, a mortar having to take a race. Actually, it's also a lot of positions there, and now we got you mad pro up in the 7th position there. Oh my goodness me, absolutely incredible stuff indeed. Now we got Immortal down in 7th position. He's lost a lot of time there. Immortal Marsky is now into a very solid a very solid ninth position there. Good stuff indeed there. Uman broke into a very solid 7th position there. Good stuff there for the McLaren team. Oh dear, it was Daly and a dollar short there, unfortunately for Gorda. He's dropped right down to 11th position. He's out of the points from Gorda is there. He's happy with his race there, but unfortunately that's unraveled slightly as the Serious Rusher is now all over the back. New Potato is trying to attack now. Is he attack young Tommy? New Potato is dead. He hasn't got many laps to do though, with 3 laps to go. Slayer's got a 3-second penalty. That could be costly. Unfortunately, Slayer and Reflections and Gorda just cut at the back of the field. Oh my word there. As I've got to quickly clear my throat then, because this has been a barnstorming race, hasn't it? Young Tommy leads around by a second and a bit then as he's extended to in the World Championship. New Potato is up to a solid 2nd position. New Potato's got a 3-second penalty. That could cost him second position. And Serious Bishop has now been in 4th position there. As Wilson's just got past. And now, and look at this, as Mad Bro, he would love to get some podiums after what has been a pretty difficult race for Mad Bro. But he could also cover a competition as well. New Potato's got to do some quality laps now if he wants to get second. And that 3-second penalty is going to be costly for New Potato, but he was going for the Grand Prix win, was he? Who can blame New Potato? I certainly wouldn't, because he's a racer, isn't he? There, of course, he's not going to want to settle for 2nd position, is he? New Potato. He is a driver that wants to win a Grand Prix, doesn't he? There, so of course he was going to go for the Grand Prix win. Of course, why wouldn't he? And as we're going through the chicane as well, we have got 3 laps to go in this race, 2 laps to go in this race. The laps are running out. Serious Mushroom, who is now there, who's got 3 seconds away from Caesar, and he could get on the podium for the first time this season for Serious Mushroom. He's had a tough season, I think, but this would be a very good podium for Serious Mushroom, wouldn't it? Be a well-deserved one as well. I think a lot of drivers would be very happy with Serious Mushroom if he gets on the podium stadium, but he has 3 seconds between himself and Siege, as it's taken him a few laps. And Wilson and V. Todd, I think, is doing an outstanding job, and Siege as well, to be quite high up in the top 10 then. Great stuff on those very old tyres then. The soft tyres now starting to feel a bit worn and perhaps then going down into turn 1 as well. Siege is still he's within 3 seconds just about of New Potato, but he's 3.4 seconds away actually, so he's not within a second of 3 seconds at all, is he? So I'm speaking absolute boulder dash. Umabro on the outside then. V. Todd is going to try and repel him as much as he can, but V. Todd doing a great job to defend there. Very good stuff indeed. Goodness gracious me then, as they fly over the curb can there. My goodness me. Absolutely no concern about the curb camera there, and rightfully so then, is there, as they probably don't even notice there. Oh no, the TK is off the circuit there, and TK there, who had that smash with Farfan, he's going to lose positions, he's out of the top 10 there. Gordo back up in the 10th position there. Oh dear there. And TK then, unfortunately, Alpine is going to be going home empty-handed from this race as well, then, because they have got no points on the board, have they? And goodness me, you mad bros had issues around that corner 3 times now, hasn't he, in this race? Marski, is he going to really set up the overtake? Not quite. And Immortal in 9th position as well, as Immortal there, who's near the back of the points set, is he? As it was looking so strong at one point for Immortal, unfortunately, it's gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? So Scuba Shoes, I said Mushroom for a podium. Come on then. Serious Russian there, still 3 seconds back and 1 off. The soft tires may have lost a bit of their edge now, haven't they, for Serious Russian there, but still great stuff there from Serious Russian. Absolutely hats off there. More time to look down into when this is the follow up of the Grand Prix. My goodness me, those last couple of laps and after the safety cars really flown by, haven't they? Really incredible stuff indeed there. It was getting very hair and scared at one stage as well. But what an incredible end to the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's been a very good race as well, hasn't it? I must say, really good stuff. Of course, tomorrow night we've got bronze action as well, where we'll be, where of course we've had 7 different Grand Prix winners in the first 8 races. Of course, one of the 2 guys won twice is not racing anymore because he's racing in that silver tonight. So unfortunately, he's only finished tonight in silver tonight Immortal. So we have still, that championship is still very much on the edge there. Theo, of course, there is. Theo, of course, there is the driver with the advantage one, and we've also got Hammer Time driving the same car as Young Tommy, also leading the championship in COBALT as well. Of course, that is on Wednesday night as well. But it's going to be Young Tommy, and it's going to be a 2nd Grand Prix win in a row as well. Fantastic for Young Tommy. This stage of the season, he is absolutely unbeatable. He wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Young Tommy, that middle part of the race there, where he came into the pits on those and put on the dry tyres after the intermediates was absolutely sublime there. Really were indeed there. Young Tommy extends us in the World Championship as well. He is unstoppable at the moment. Young Tommy is there. He's had a second in Austria, a win in a first in Britain, and now a first in Hungary. He extends us in the World Championship. Really well done indeed there for young Tommy. His second Grand Prix win, his 7th podium of the season as well. Yeah, new potato on the podium for the first time since the Monaco Grand Prix. Only a second points finish this season with new potato, but Williams are going to be happy with this result today. With Siege, the super sub then for Welshman now to come in in a third position. Absolutely mega stuff indeed there. Really well done indeed there for all the drivers to finish today. We had 13 drivers that finished Grand Prix. Wilson gets driver of the day as well. Of course, he wants to come to pits, didn't he? Wilson did there, so he might have been a bit better there, but even still, I think he'd be happy at 5th today, wouldn't he? There he is, young Tommy, on the podium again there. But not only that, he's on top step again there. He waited quite a while for the win then, but it's like the number 2 bus, isn't it? And all of a sudden, they all come along at once, don't they? Young Tommy, his second Grand Prix win in 2 races there. He is spraying the bubbly. He is getting used to this bubbly. Incredible stuff indeed there. New Potato second today. Third position is Siege as well on his debut as well. Good stuff indeed there for Siege's third Grand Prix, I should say that, in the Williams car then. So young Tommy there, 8th on the grid there. Qualifying, does it matter? It doesn't for young Tommy, does it? My word there. But today in the race, fantastic, wasn't he? Young Tommy there, 8th on the grid there to win the Grand Prix. Second position was New Potato. I think he'd be very happy with that. Third position was Siege with 4th position, Serge Merchant, best result of his season so far. Wilson in 5th position with V Todd in 6th. You man, bro, be happy to come on with points there. Immortal in 8th position. 9th position is Gordo, and 10th position is TK. Hello, Farf. Goodbye, Farf. And that's the final point score. Marsky in 11th position, Reflection in 12th, and we got Slayer getting the bonus point in 13th position. Retirements is FIFA, Fifi, Farf, Markey, Bradfield, Dylan. We got Fallen, Gooner, all retired then from the Hungarian Grand Prix. I missed who came in the party then, which wasn't very good, was it? Goodness me. Hello, who has joined me in the gantry tonight? Hello, young Tommy. And what I say, and you say you again, I must say you've been absolutely fantastic in this race. 2 wins in 2 races there.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, to be honest. It was another fantastic race. What can I say? I had a bad qualifying. I didn't get a lap together. Started P8, I think. P9, I'm not sure. And yeah, the rain. I love the rain. Like, on this game, it feels fantastic, to be honest. And just had a great start, had a few good battles, and yeah, that safety car.
I must say, I was saying in the commentary as well that that you was waiting for the race win. And all of a sudden, 2 came along at once. You did say you don't know how you did it then, but there was a moment in the race then where I think it was halfway through where you was absolutely flying. I think you overtook young New Potato, then you overtook Siege as well. How did you just enjoy the dry here tonight? Because you was flying.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did some practice yesterday. That was like the first time that I actually practiced for a race, and yeah, it really felt good. Like, I got a good feel for a track. I got a good feel for the mediums, and yeah, that paid out today.
And of course, you've now extended your lead in the championship. The closest championship rival is your teammate, which is a bit of an interesting dynamic. But your teammate having a second DNF in 3 races, and you've got such a mammoth lead now. Can you relax?
I'm trying to relax, but to be honest, I'm just totally gassed for it. To be honest, like getting 2 race wins in a row, I didn't expect to get a race win at all. It just keeps me going. To be honest.
I have mentioned about qualifying, where you qualified down 8th today, but it shouldn't really make a difference, really, because you go and get points in the race itself. But my goodness me, how do you do it then in the opening couple of laps? How are you able to like avoid all the issues that everyone else seems to have had, especially in the wet day? That was absolutely incredible.
To be honest, I'm just trying to stay calm for the race starts. I know that some people struggle in the wet, and the starts are very very difficult on especially on those conditions. And yeah, I'm just trying to stay safe, try not to risk too much on the first few laps, and yeah,
And going
normally
on
it
to
pays out
the
well.
Belgian Grand Prix in a week's time, then that's going to be marking the halfway stage of the World Championship. I've asked you before. I'm going to ask you again. Does your mentality change then, going race by race, then, or are you doing a Nico Rosberg kind of mentality? You're just going to take it lap by lap.
To be honest, I think I will take it lap by lap. um, I don't know, like, it just keeps me going. I just want to get good results, get good points. I'm trying to stay away from like all the point grids. I don't really take a look at them at the moment. Like, I just want
Really
to
well
have a
done,
few good
young
races.
Tommy. Absolutely fantastic stuff here today. Your second Grand Prix win in a row. And goodness me, since Austria, you've been on fine, Vettel. Indeed, brilliant stuff, yeah, young Tommy. Our championship leader going into the Belgian Grand Prix. And I think we've got someone else in here as well. New Potato. Is that you? No? Hello.
Uh,
How are you getting
Yeah,
on,
this is the
Sean?
first.
uh,
I'm not too bad. How are you, my good sir?
How are you?
Uh,
I'm not doing too bad.
I must
Finally
say,
finished one on
unfortunately, I say
ALR.
in the commentary that you've only scored once this season, which you got that amazing podium in the Monaco Grand Prix. But since then, you haven't really spoke to me much. Then, so how does it feel to be back up here?
No, oh, great. Enjoyed that one now. Fair play to young Tommy. I just couldn't get him after the SC. Tried to push him as hard, but I was sort of happy and I settled for second, and then I got the 3 second penalty, and I just went, you know what? I'm just going to lift
And
off here and let him tear away. If I can finish, if I finish
I
this
got to say,
race,
I
I'm
think we're all
happy.
happy as well because that was a cracking race today. And just in terms of the
Mm.
race itself, I pinpointed that young Tommy in those couple laps after everyone went on to dry tires is where he really like made up the time. Would you agree with that, or did you feel that did you feel there was another place in the race where young Tommy maybe had the slight advantage over you today?
I think young Tommy jumped us all. He ain't done a lap early today compared to
Possibly.
us. Then I went on and Siege he's my team. He helped me up in the pit end as
Oh,
well.
good.
Double stacked us. But hey, I can't. Young Tommy was after this. I went on the mediums and the wets.
Do
He
you
was
think if that
fast.
double stack didn't happen, you might have been able to edge young Tommy out today and get the Grand Prix win?
Well, it'd been closer anyway after the SC, but he just pulled away once we went on the soft.
And whilst I got you
Credit
here,
them.
I just want to ask you about your season. And I said at the beginning of the broadcast today of how you and Maldonado looked so good in the opening stage of the season, especially in qualifying, but it just hasn't come together. It's been a bit difficult for you this season. So as we go on to Belgium in a week's time now, where it's the halfway stage
Yeah.
officially, there's a lot more races to come then. So what is your aims and aspirations then for the remainder of the season?
I'm going to try and finish as many as I can and get as much points as I can. I can't hook this game up at
Well,
all.
fingers
Can't
crossed.
finish races.
Oh, sorry, did I
So
talk over you then?
right, no, you're grand. No, I'm just going to enjoy them and try and
And
finish them.
we're all gonna like be fingers crossed for you as well. Well done today, New Potato, fantastic stuff. And well done to young Tommy as well, a two-time Grand Prix winner this season, and extended in the World Championship. Up next, it is bronze tomorrow. Well, not next, it's tomorrow now. Of course, where we've had seven different Grand Prix winners in the first 8 races, and Theo leads the championship, but it's a slender margin. It's a slender margin though coming into the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's see if the Ferrari driver, after a appalling drive in Silverstone, can pick it back up. We'll see you tomorrow.